we go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end.
Go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is WLE, and we are carrying on with the action. Hope you guys had a good break. My name is William, also known as Will Phoenix, and next to me I have Justin. What's up, dude?
Hey William, how are you doing?
I'm calm, man. I'm calm. I had a good break, took a little bit of a nap, and played some Siege, and now I'm ready to watch and commentate some Siege. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. To all those who have just joined us as well.
Same. And today's matchup is XL versus Sinister 5. So this is the
Yeah.
second qualifying game of the WLE Pronto tournament. This team will then face off against next week's winner of the matchup, I believe, between DNMK and Phoenix, which will be played on Friday. These two teams both showed prominence in their group stages, XL obviously being the top of their group, and Sinister 5 obviously falling just short, being on the number 4th spot in their group, losing all 3 of their games. But
Yeah.
we can't really talk about that, as that is going to be not really a deciding factor. More this game, how it plays out, is going to be the deciding factor, because it is 3 different maps, 2 different teams playing against each other, not just focusing on different results from the 2 teams. But for this matchup, we'll have to see how both the teams perform and who can take the upper hand from the very beginning.
Yep, and Exhale and Sinister 5 all have a good record, especially Exhale been showing up pretty well. So, this is going to be an interesting matchup. In Chalet, we've been seeing a lot of Chalet again today. Yesterday, it was more Clubhouse, and yeah, we'll see what the lead off is in Chalet today. What are you expecting from these two teams? Who are you rooting for now? It's your turn since you are 3-2 ahead.
For this matchup, I think I'm going to stick with Excel for this one. I
Mhm.
just believe their potential as a team. We haven't really seen much of them, but they have really showed prominence in their groups, obviously being the top of the leaderboard, which I don't think anyone or everyone in the tournament expected to happen. More of an underdog story for them, but they did play really well. So I think they will be able to really show up against Sinister 5, but we'll have to see how it plays out in the match.
Right then, so the players are all ready and in the lobby. So let's get this game on the way. Everybody in chat, shout out who are you rooting for and who do you want to win? And we'll see what the result is at the end. It is a best of 3, so hopefully they take us to the end. We've been seeing a lot of 2-0s today, so hopefully this one goes all the way to the end. Bands for Chalet this time. Do you think it's going to be similar bands, or is it going to be something different this time around with the mirror staying on board, which I'm always curious to see why people let the mirror play.
Mirror is a very interesting operator to let slip through on Chalet, because she is very powerful, especially on most of the sites. For example, upstairs and downstairs, she can really be used to the advantage of the defenders. So letting that operator slip through might be a bit of a pivotal point for Sinister 5 if it is played by XL. But for the attacking bans, Thatcher and Flores both banned, so both sort of utility clearance operators to clear out those shields and clear out the utility protecting those shields, holding, for example, top blue or in piano in those defense rounds, is going to be really difficult for Sinister 5 to try and attack those areas, and for XL will be able to work around those shields. But speaking of the mirror is banned out by Sinister 5, so they won't have to play against that at all.
Yep, I'm sad to see Flores go, but these teams do know how powerful Flores can be and how annoying and easier it'll be for the attackers. So that is a powerful ban indeed. And on the last banning phase, I'm probably expecting a Valkyrie or a Maestro, but it's a Kaid out of the board. So those pesky little electro claws that are sometimes always hard to find, that can be put in very secretive places, they're going to be easily dealt with by just banning the Kaid. So the Bandit and the Mute is going to be very overused, or I don't know, maybe underused. But we'll see what they have in store for that. We'll see a Castle, Jaeger, Rooney, and probably a Mute I'm expecting a mute to be played, and there it is on the Danny, and we'll see who the last operator is on the defensive side of things. Lots of distraction from the attackers with only 2 hard breaches, and Yan and Sledge with the grenades, and Gridlock with those flank watches, or just to deter the defenders from getting or rotating into positions that they so choose to.
This operator lineup from Exhale is really going to support that bit of delay and denial from the defenders, especially that castle being so prominent on this site, being able to block out, for example, if they want to hold down below, those castle barricades can really support that hold, and especially with this castle barricade placement right here, blocking out that double window, it's going to make Sinister 5 need to use a bit more utility to open up those angles to put pressure on the defenders. For that, we'll have to see how Sinister 5 can play around it, but they do have operators in place. They have 3 sets of nades, so that's 6 nades in the play for them in this round, and then obviously 2 smoke canisters and the breaching rounds from, I believe, Blackstone, which he is playing.
Yep, I'm wondering if Sinister 5 was preparing for a wine cellar take, seeing as they brought a Maverick. I may be wrong, but a Maverick would kind of suffer in terms of trying to get hold of the top site, because you have to be inside the building, and it's always dangerous when you are surrounded by flanks to try and open some sort of wall. But the grenades do come into play, so that might help a bit more. We see this take now from Solarium Windows with the support of Nivik downstairs to deter anyone from trying to flank down and do a run out trying to get those repelling players up top. Mozzie is going to be spotted up, but he's going to catch that drone out, and that's eliminating a lot of intel. We see somebody missing a drone there as Nivik gets a kill onto Psychosa, and that was downstairs, I believe, which is the Mozzie who was on Solarium stairs. So that Solarium side of things can be captured and taken care of very quickly if they move very quickly. But those angles from above are going to be troublesome, but he does miss his shots and takes a little bit of HP onto himself, but that was earlier though.
Gridlock now trying to push up the Solarium stairs. A minute 35 left on the clock. The red pings coming out here from the drones onto that castle playing in bathroom. He will just push further back as Newick here trying to contest this area. He does have control of the Solarium stairs. He is being peeked though from multiple angles as he's trying to find a player here in this bathroom area. If the swing comes out, will he be able to win out the gunfight as Kiva kills the castle and Newick does lose that gunfight as Paddy comes out on top and brings a kill towards his team. Vlad is down but not out on the other side. I'm not sure from who that is, as Vlad or as Nixtra actually finishes him off. A nade comes swinging through. Paddy decides to swing to try and get the upper hand. He misses the gunfight as Kiever gets that pick and gets a double kill for himself in the round.
Yep, 55 seconds left, and a disgusting shot from Nextro getting rid of Delphox on those double windows, and Nextro is back in the jacuzzi side of things to deter anyone from attacking that Solarium side of things. There's heavy competition over on that side. A gunfight between Danny and KWR as Danny wins the gunfight, and Nextro finishes it off and gets a round for Exhale.
Well done to Exhale there to hold down that site, even though they were disadvantaged from the very start. Sinister 5 got the upper hand, but weren't able to close it out as Exhale just stopped them dead in their tracks. Just pushed forward to try and contest that bit of push. I don't think there was a lot of pressure. I think for Sinister 5, what could have gone better their way was maybe put somebody to contest that bathroom window player so that they could get full control of Solarium and try and move into that area, because that bathroom play just put so much pressure on their attack and stopped it dead in its tracks.
Yep, I 100% agree with that, because they had 2 players repelling on a Solarium side, right? They could expand one of those players to go over to the jacuzzi bathroom to contest anybody playing in there, and that could have actually worked out pretty well for them, and it could have won that round, or even repel in way earlier than they did, because I think timing sort of let them down, because the Gridlock was attacking on her own for quite a bit, and the refrag potential was there, but it just wasn't early enough. So now, second round going over to what looks like is Kitchen. side of things. So therefore going the wine cellar and going straight to kitchen.
Bar is the secondary site here for Excel as they decide to actually bring a Goyo and 2 other shields as well. That Smoke and Frost going to be able to allow them to hold that library fireplace area and the top of Ivy stairs. As you see, those 2 shields are situated. Another Goyo shield will be placed in LE as well on that fireplace area, so that's going to allow more angles and more shields to be played. I did say at the very beginning that Flores ban is going to allow Excel to play the shield meta because he is the best counter towards it. There are 6 sets of nades on the side of, actually, sorry, 4 sets, as Delphox is actually using flashes instead. So they do have some flashes to flash burn, which is a smart decision, but maybe another operator would have been different. For example, you could have swapped out, let's say, the Ace for a Hibana, and then there is flashes there and hard breach as well.
Yep, I'm trying to figure out exactly where this push is coming in from, and it looks like it's coming from Solarium, and they're going to be contested by the Goyo. Now, the pinnacle of this defense is probably going to be on those blue stairs. They have to get that blue stairs player out of the way either as soon as possible or when it comes down to their assault. Right now, the Goyo seems like he has retreated back. So just to waste a little bit of time, not much time wasted, but seems like he's fallen all the way up to library. But Nivik does get a kill on to Colossal, eliminating that Goyo. So they're going to be taking care of those shields quite soon enough. The push is strong onto Master Bedroom and the piano side of things as they attack those windows. That drone being missed. Some of the Sinister 5 players need to get a hold on destroying those drones because they are missing quite a few of them. Right now, Nextro is going to be finally contested on those blue stairs. Paddy with a disgusting shot onto Vlad, eliminating the Ayana, now leaving it as a 4v4 man count from both sides.
I wonder if Paddy knows about the players in office that he can contest from that soft wall on that book's hallway. But he will be contested as Newik pushes up and gets a double kill in the round. That's Paddy off of the board. A 4 versus 3. Nixra is also very low on HP. He's around 10 HP as Danny gets spotted out from the hatch. Just Kivit to get the pick and leaving it up to a 2 versus 2. Nixra now trying to make a flank all the way up to Solarium stairs, leaving Psych on site all by himself. He does spot out Blackstone, trying to jump into the window. He just falls off as some HP is put onto him. The vertical pressure now going to cause a lot of problems as this wall is opened as well. So it's all up to Smoke, but the Smoke is no more as Newik and Delphox clean up the round and take out the last 2 remaining defenders and win themselves their very first round.
Yep, that was a clinical take there, Justin. They took it all the way from Solarium to Master Bedroom to Piano Hallway and Blue Stairs, and they just collapsed onto site with a good rotation onto that double window to help out whoever was trying to clear out the person in, I think it was stock room. I'm not 100% sure what that room is called. I keep forgetting it all the time. But they did well onto conserving their ace Salmas, so they can get rid of the player who was playing in there. And yeah, it was a successful take. So going on to the next round, I think they may have gone back to the same place. No, they've gone to kitchen and dining this time around. So they're going to be trying something new.
This kitchen and dining hold going to be very reliant on the top floor in order to hold this one out. Those Goya shields going to be supporting upstairs. I wonder where Danny is going to place his shield, as he does have those frost mats to support the window jump-ins. As you saw, those placements of the frost mats all on the windows of West Main and that trophy window, and these belt cams just going to support that hold upstairs, as it's going to give a lot of intel, which the C4s then can be used from Colossal and Psych Sosa to support getting those kills. And obviously these roamers from Paddy and Nixtro also going to be supporting the hold quite some.
Yep, and Paddy is going to be playing a very dangerous game all on his lonesome downstairs. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be met by the gridlock of Nuvik, because he's been pushing down there for quite a bit. If they get some intel down there and catch Paddy off guard, or they might make a plan to catch him while he's rotating. So far, it looks like they're trying to take library or games room, and they're going to be met with the Jaegers. KWR eliminates Nextro. That is the Jaeger off the board as he tries to challenge early on. But the ADSs are still in place, so they will come in play later on unless somebody gets rid of them. Right now, again, Sinister 5 is making that clinical push. Everybody with full HP, and it looks like Exhale is going to have to reposition here.
Colossal stuck here in stock as he's being pressured from this games window and this LE hatch, that small little room outside library, as now this games hatch is being opened as well. He does eventually get picked off as Stalfox gets the kill, leaving Exhale in a 3 versus 5 situation. Paddy here at the top of Solarium stairs to try and contest these attackers, but they aren't pushing from Solarium whatsoever. They have control of the top floor, but Paddy will try and contest this as Vlad is here playing, holding these angles to try and put pressure on that kitchen and dining site.
And KWR does spot Paddy coming from a piano. Paddy has to relocate now. He's probably going to go all the way around and just try to come back into sight and hold it off from there, because the assault is happening right now and it looks like they're preparing for this execute. It's going to be a bloodbath as Danny and Psychosa has to hold it off up until Paddy can make it back. Right now, Psychosa gets a kill onto Delphox and Nivik. That's a double for him. And he softened the blow. Right now, it's a 3v3. This is looking good. Both teams, it can go either way.
Paddy with the long angle onto this main lobby area, just putting so much pressure. Syke gets a double kill. He's on a quad at the moment. He's killing Vlad and Kiever, trying to rotate back, but those gridlocks track stingers going to be contesting him there, as Blackstone is the last remaining attacker. He has to try and win out this round. He does get Psychosa off of the board. He denies him of the ace, but now 25 seconds left. He has to get the last 2 remaining defenders. 25 seconds, trying to push into the store, just peeking the angles. He spots out the head, but not able to hit the shots as he just waits patiently. These 2 defenders holding the cross angle, waiting patiently for him to peek into their line of sight, and peek he will, as Danny gets the final kill in that round and bringing Exhale to a 2-1 lead so far in this matchup between the 2 teams.
We off on a good start right now. So far, it's looking like a back and forth. And yeah, 2-1 so far to Exhale. And Sinister 5 almost taking that, actually. But Paddy with that flank, that didn't work, but almost worked out near the end. And somebody, I cannot remember who it was, with that double C4. Was it Danny or was it Psychosa? Psychosa with a double kill and a double C4 to almost single-handedly winning that round for Exhale. But to Master Bedroom, they're going back to Master Bedroom right now, and we'll see what they have changed and what they've evolved from and what they've learned from Sinister 5 to deter them from taking that site again.
Master Bedroom, the 4th site for Exhale as they choose to go back upstairs. They did win it the first time round, so we'll have to see if they can win it out again, or if Sinister 5 will change up that Solarium push and do the more common default front push, taking control of K9 balcony and that library area and pushing to try and go for that default plant spot. The operators from Exhale, however, are going to really slow down that attack if it does come to be, as the barbed wire, there's a Runegate, and obviously all the castle barricades and Wamaidas from that Jaeger and the Wamai is going to slow down those nades from the side of Sinister 5.
Yeah, and just looking at how they've prepared that side, it looks like they're prepared for either side, right? The Solarium or the K9 and piano push. So it's up to Sinister 5 to adjust to that and decide whether they're going to spread themselves out for a pinch or they're going to commit to one side push. And right now it looks like they are going to be pushing library side of things. And they are going to be met by Psychosa on that Wamai. And he has support as well. So it's not like he's going to he's not going to have any help. Right now, Nuvik is pushing with the gridlock, some information onto the Wamai with those red pings. Wamai trying to hightail it out of there. Nuvik misses his chance twice, actually, to get that Wamai. Unsuccessful at that. But they do have full control over library and blue stairs and that hallway from K9.
Those feet holes are going to put a lot of pressure on these attackers as a headite hole is open up here as well at the castle of Colossal, as a nade is probably going to be swinging through here from that breach from Kiev to try and get rid of that utility so that those ace charges may go down, and they do go down in the end. Castle does lose some HP as he loses some more, and he does get down there by Kevin using that angle that he made to his advantage. Now a 4 versus 5 with a minute 25 left on the clock. It is all up to the last remaining Exhale defenders to hold these crosses and to stop these attackers of Sinister 5 from pushing in. Newick does push in into the library hallway. He does get one, but he gets refragged. And then Delphox gets a kill for himself. He gets a second, actually getting the refrag for his teammate, and he does get picked off by Paddy. The plant is being attempted now. A 1 versus 3 situation. 44 seconds left on the clock. He has to try and push it. He has to try and make a play to pick off one player so that he can use that as momentum to try and clutch this one out.
Yep, he knows where the diffuser is, but I don't think he knows where well, he has an idea of where some of them are. One of them does reveal their position. So he now knows that there's one in that hallway, and they should be blasted on that piano hallway side of things. Drone's coming in to spot exactly where it is. Surely if he goes for this defuse, he's going to be killed. He has a challenge as he gets shot in the back. He lights up the ace, unable to finish the kill as Blackstone finishes him off. So, I think it was Blackstone on the sledge, had a bloody good idea, as we mentioned, rotating a player onto that jacuzzi to apply more unwanted pressure onto the defenders, and it worked out incredibly well.
Indeed, I believe it was Delphox actually on that sledge.
Oh, yeah.
But he did really make a very good play there, trying to put a lot of pressure from the side, and it worked out in his favor, of course. Maybe he got a bit too aggressive there at the end, just pushing straight in and allowing Paddy to try and get something back, but it didn't really cause any problems for Exhale, as Paddy was not able to clutch it out whatsoever, because those 3 last remaining attackers of Sinister 5 just held those crosses beautifully, played off of each other and waited time. They didn't aggress, they didn't really push forward whatsoever, just held the angles, and that's the best way to hold a post-plant situation.
Yeah, and I swallow my words once again, as I usually do, because looking at Sinister 5's lineup, it looks like this is the lineup they're set in, and they've built most of their strats upon this lineup. So when I mentioned that they pick the Maverick expecting a wine cellar push, I was completely incorrect. This is what they're choosing to go with, and it is working out super well for them so far. Even though it is neck and neck, their attacks are getting more solid as the rounds go. And speaking of rounds, we are off onto the 5th round, and it's back up to Master Bedroom. We'll see what changes this time. Is Exhale going to be successful again? Or I mean, the first time they were successful in the 1st round, but then they failed on the 4th round. So they're going to give it another shot, seemingly because they know exactly what they did wrong and what they need to fix. So we'll see how this one turns out. Will Sinister 5 change their attacks, or are they just going to keep it the same?
It looks like they will keep it the same, as we do see this player's position to push this library and K9 balcony once again. They are being contested from these players from down below. A Valcam does get spotted out, and that will be taken out once they push into that area. But the C4s from the side of Exhale are really going to put a lot of pressure if they don't get cleared out from below. That Mozzie, Mute, and Val combo all having C4s, as the Mozzie does contest that library window and picks off Kiever. That is the Maverick off of the board, so no more util to try and help get the utility off of the wall. They'll have to send a nade from below from that Ayana to try and clear it out.
Yep, that's a massive blow to Sinister 5, but a return kill onto Colossal from Nivik as he jumps down to blue stairs and catches the Mozzie off guard. And right now, track stingers are coming out, and Delphox gets a kill onto Psychosa. Now they're pushing into Piano, and as you said, it's going to be a struggle to try and get those denials off the wall. But I think that Gridlock might manage to do that if he can master the courage to open that soft wall and possibly shoot it from there. But that's not going to be possible, as Paddy has something to say about it as he eliminates Nuvik, leaving a Sinister 5 on a 3v3 situation. This is good for either team though, but I think Sinister 5 is suffering a little bit when it comes to HP, as Exhale has more HP than they do.
Play being contested down below here. Blackstone or Delphox, sorry, versus Nisha, the Valkyrie versus the Sledge. Pre-fire is just coming through. Nothing will connect on each other as Danny tries to go for this wall reinforcement. I believe he's reinforcing that. Yep, he's reinforcing that soft jungle wall there to try and stop that wall from being breached from that Sledge. And just in perfect time as the Sledge has just arrived, but will not matter as now the last remaining attackers have to push through. Blackstone trying to get control of this area, but he can't because that mute jam is slowing him down. Danny just playing here with the shotgun is trying to contest that K9 doorway as a player. Gets picked off. That's Niksha to get Delphox the win. The gunfight finally being taken to him as now Vlad also gets peeked by Paddy, and Niksha gets the final kill with the Deagle from the Valkyrie and winning themselves their very third round in this matchup.
Yep, that back and forth continues as Exhale finally wins that round again in Master Bedroom. They were forced, Sinister 5 was forced to push in through doorways, especially when they that blow onto Maverick. Losing the Maverick was a massive blow for Sinister 5, and we can see how just one operator dies, how much of an impact it could cause onto the round. So they're going on to kitchen and dining room, and so far we've seen that Exhale has won that round. And as we've seen, Exhale won that round, and Sinister 5's not changing their lineup again. It's going to be keeping it the same. So we'll see how they take this round again.
Round number 6 in this matchup between the two. Kitchen is being played again, as you stated, but it looks like a similar lineup as now Danny is just sitting holding that drone hold to try and get some of that intel. He does spot out a drone, he will go for it, but will he be able to shoot it out? No, the drone will just escape. He will not chase that at all. But now the setup, that Frost gonna be having to use that Frost once again to try and delay those attackers might be very good for Excel. They do have a 6-pick onto the Valkyrie, so it seems that they're more comfortable playing with that Valk than the Aruni because of that delay that it's bringing for them, and the Goyos there isn't there either. So that mute Mozzie Valkyrie just being played out constantly for them is a good tactic for them, and it gives them so much intel denial and intel for their defense so that their roamers can roam effectively.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Sinister 5 do know where 2 of those Valkyrie cams are, so they should be dealt with pretty easily or avoided, if anything else. They're spotting out a lot of utility from Exhale so far. And that push onto Library is happening right now. Colossal is going to be contested by somebody on that window. But as we've seen, I think somebody else won that gunfight from outside the window. And Exhale needs to clear out those drones. Will a great escape be happening here, or will that drone be killed finally? But right now, KWR is trying to make his way into Library. If they get hold of Library, they will surely be... and Delphox eliminates Colossal in that endeavor, and they finally do take control of Library. Right now, all XL players have to either reshuffle or somebody needs to fill in that position again. Psychosa on the roam in the top floor, and he's going to bide his time and wait for the perfect opportunity to strike as the Sinister 5 players try to move into position.
Play being contested here as Nisho wins out that gunfight. That's the Maverick off of the board once again, so you won't be able to use those nades that he had in his back pocket or that blowtorch of his to try and get the utility of the wall. Sinister 5 will have to try and take top floor control if they want to open up those dining walls, or they do actually have 2 sets of nades from Ayana still, so they will use those to try and open it up. But this is going to be a very one-sided push here for them. They don't have any presence from the other side of the map, so the defenders know exactly where to watch and will just sit here, play time, and wait for the attackers to push into their lines of sight.
Yep, I'm wondering where Psychosa is right now. I'm sure he's got a devious plan to disrupt this assault that's happening right now, and there he is, seemingly around the bar area side of things. And right now they haven't dealt with Nextra downstairs, and he's gonna cause a couple of problems. But the C4 has been disbanded though, so he has to either come back to site and help his teammates, or he can maybe push a flank on to somebody else. But Nivik has some sort of control onto west stairs and eliminates Nextro, but pushes into sight, and Paddy eliminates him completely. It's now down to a 3v3. That long shot from Psychosa spots out somebody on that hallway. They are very close to sight. Looks like Vlad is already inside. Sees the barrel of the shotgun on the mute. The smoke contests him, and the smoke unable to do the job, and Vlad finishes it. The plant goes down, and right now they do have coverage, but not enough. Actually, the coverage was enough to get him down, and the plant has gone down, but the Frost is upstairs in a 1v2 situation. He has to go down, eliminating those tracks. Thing is, he has full health and somebody is downed. If that information gets relayed, he may be able to capitalize on that. A little bit of a decoy taking that hatch out, and he knows he's going to be going the other way around. And he has been caught out rotating, but that player is too... If he makes it to the diffuser, he might be able to do some trickery, and it's now down to a 1v1. He knows where that player is, but he can get a long shot onto the Frost. So the Frost is in danger right now. He's gonna go for the diffuser. He has to stick it, but as he does, Delphox does finish him off. As I lose my words, and Sinister 5 gets around.
Well played to Sinister 5 there to take control of that execute. Did say there was no pressure from the other side, but Nubik changed his mind and decided to rotate there to support his teammates from the back front of that west main stairs, picking off one. He did get refragged, but he got a pivotal operator that was holding that long angle, allowing his teammates to push forward and try and push. And good gun skill there from the attackers on Sinister 5 to just wait out those really gunfights and push forward, and then still have that situational awareness to know when to peek and when not to peek. So well done to them. But it is a 3-3 split on an attacker-sided map, so it is a bit of a different scoreline that we're used to. So for XL, they do maybe have a bit of an advantage here to try and bring it forward, but we have to see if they can do it from the start, as there is going to be a lot of delay from Sinister 5. They do have quite a bit of operators here to try and contest that sort of play coming through, and that's a chunker obviously, instead of the smoke just being played out, to delay a bit more, as there is 14 Shumika fire grenades instead of just the 3 smoke canisters.
Launching Shumika. I wonder where that Tachanka is going to play. I'm suspecting that he's going to play in piano, because then he'll have a chance to sort of launch those fire grenades into that square side of things in office to stop or deny any entry and plant that's going to go down. So it is going to play well for him if he does play that position. We'll find out later if that happens. Right now, we'll see if XL is going to have a split push or if it's going to be one-sided. Are they going to take Library? Are they going to take Solarium? Lately, more teams have been going for that Solarium push, because we've kind of... everybody has established that meta of pushing Library. Right now, Danny gets a lead-off pick on to Nivik. That is the Tachanka out of the board. So we're not going to be seeing any flame grenades being thrown at all. In a sense, you can say that is a massive damage dealt onto Sinister 5. So they're going to have to hold it out with the rest of what they have.
Player gets contested there as Nextro gets the pick onto Delphox, and another one swings wide as he gets on the drone, but he gets off just in time and he picks off Vlad. He does have full control of this piano area now. A player does get spotted out by that line scan as he gets another one. Blackstone does get a pick onto Danny, but he is very low on HP, just on 10 HP here, being contested by 4 other attackers as Nextro trying to contest him. A nade will come through from him, but he will just decide to run off. These hackers should now just try and get into the building and get the plant down. Surely they know they have control of the site, and that will be the case. Paddy going for the plant here, but Blackstone has to try and push up these stairs. He does get scanned out as he just throws some of these magnet discs here. Nextro does get picked off there as Blackstone wins that gunfight, but now another player trying to contest him, as Colossal will just decide to run upstairs instead and hold ground of that upstairs push.
Yep, they're gonna hold their ground. He doesn't run out expecting somebody. Well, he did know somebody was up there, even though he was guessing. He might have got it, but that player on Solarium Windows was ready as they get a round, I think, gone to Sinister... No, gone to Exhale. So it's 4-3 score. well attack from Exhale, and I think it started with that Tachanka kill. I think that Tachanka kill was a heavy blow to them as they didn't have any sort of denial. So it seems like they're choosing to go with the smoke this time around. So maybe he'll play a bit more conservative. I'm not 100% sure where that Tachanka died. I can't remember, but hopefully he plays a bit more careful this time.
Indeed, but that smoke going to be able to support that basement hold there with Delphox on the echo as well. So that's a lot of delay for the defend or the attackers to go against. But we do see the same lineup coming out here from Exhale as they do get a 6-pick off from that from the gridlock onto the Ying. Sorry, I lost my words there, and they do have that line, which surprisingly enough, they've been using quite a lot in all their games, and it really has been playing well in their favor because it just seems they have that sort of coordination and very good synergy with playing with that operator. They know exactly when to use these scans, know exactly when to push with those scans, and just basically feed off of that momentum, which is a really good play style from Excel to have.
We're seeing a Ying here, Justin. I don't think we've seen a Ying for quite a while. We might have in the previous games, but this is going to be interesting. And seeing the defense side of things, they only have a Jaeger, so it might be easy for Exhale to burn those Jaegers. And if they get that wall open and put some pressure into Wine Cellar and have Danny and somebody else really assault onto that garage wall with those Candelas, Sinister 5 has a troubling round ahead of them.
That is true. That is true indeed. And this is the very first time we are seeing down below. So it is going to be interesting to see how Exhale choose to defend or attack this, because they didn't actually defend it once. It didn't go downstairs at all. They only went to bar, kitchen, and upstairs. But for this attack, it does look like they'll be doing a standard main stairs push, as those Candelas and flashes from the line just going to come through there, but Nisho will lose quite a lot of HP on his feet as they are shooting him from that drone hole. So an interesting, or not really interesting, but Nivik here using his position to his advantage to put pressure on those attackers.
Yep, if they're not careful, he may take advantage of it, but that Gemini clone is gonna make his position known. So they do know he's playing very close to the breach as he falls back. So they did manage to open that breach in quite a considerable amount of time as Nivik gets downed by the Ying. So if that information gets relayed, they may be able to take the lobby and fireplace side of things, while the Echo is going to get some information and try and help out that Jaeger, but he's not going to be able to cross because there's somebody already waiting for that cross. An assault, though, is happening down in Wine Cellar, but now they have to rotate and leave the Jaeger all on his lonesome. So he's going to be left to die as this assault happens, but Blackstone might be able to help while he's on the flank.
This is a very interesting attack here from XL. They are doing quite a bit of a rotate. So they first went to the main breach. They opened up that main breach. They left one person there to play it. And then the rest of them all rotated to the back to put pressure from that. So it's a very, very good attack from them. But Delphox unfortunately gets picked off there from Sinister 5 as Newick does get picked up. But the Lion going to be contesting this main breach as he just jumps in unaware. Vlad gets the first pick and Blackstone gets the second one there. The plant is being attempted. Yeah, but Kiever doesn't know the location of Colossal, who's holding the angle. Newick gets the refrag there, but he spots out two players, not able to get any of them off of the board. Now he does swing wide. He gets pre-fired from Danny playing in this trench area. These two are just going to hold close here as Blackstone trying to cover this plant being defused, as now he is unaware. Vlad does get the pick onto him. A 1-versus-1 situation. He swings wide with the SMG-11 and gets a triple kill for himself in the round and clutches that one out, bringing it back to a 4-versus-4 scoreline in favor, or actually not in favor, evened out by Sinister 5 to now see who will take the first step in this game and take the lead once again.
I was convinced that was Exhale's round there, but that SMG-11 proving to be very useful in those kinds of situations, and that Ace kind of was lost for a bit. He was confused as to where the I think it was the smoke, right, was rotating around. But nonetheless, I think they are going to buy a gaming room this time. And yeah, let's see what lineup they have from Exhale. Seems like a very similar lineup as what Sinister 5 was doing, but this time around they are bringing a Lion from Psychosa. And we're seeing another similar lineup. We're seeing a Legion from Sinister 5 this time.
Yeah, so that other extra shield is not going to be played out here by Sinister 5, and Danny's no longer on that Ying, so he's choosing to keep his flanks up with that gridlock as they try to push through this bar site. I believe they are trying to do a Solarium push as well. That's why they might be taking the gridlock, just to defend off that bit of flank denial that they need. But for Sinister 5, they're going to be contesting that heavily, as they do have very good operators to try and deny those sort of entry pushes coming out from the attackers. But we have to see how they choose to hold that one out, as they do have a standard double shield setup here on the top of Fireplace and those top ivy stairs.
Yeah, so I'm curious. Oh, I thought that was in square, but it's not. I got confused for a bit. So their hold is a bit different to what Sinister 5, I mean, to what Exhale had. They have a heavy presence around, I think, Piano and Blue Stairs side of things. And they're going to be contesting Library as well. And now, see Colossal and Nextro pushing downstairs to try find any defenders roaming around, which is a good thing to do. You want to clear out your path for your entries, and now we see Sledge and Paddy going for the assault. See if they make record time into trying to push in. It looks like they're just pushing on one level, so they're not going to be clearing upstairs at all. They're just going straight for those walls, and if they manage to successfully open them, I think Sinister 5 may be in deep trouble.
Indeed, that might be the case, but it will look like it will be opened. The Sledge is just waiting out for permission from the Ace to try and open up that wall, but he opens up the soft wall instead. They do have control of this dining and short area, and they do have some main lobby presence outside, as you saw Danny there, and obviously somebody lurking here down below. I believe Sosa is going to try and either push up that bottom main stairs or up blue, as Danny does get spotted out, but he just runs away with his life there. Newick and the rest of Sinister 5 are aware of the push coming out from Exhale, as they all move their attention towards those players in dining side. Delphox getting into a gunfight with Danny, but he loses that one out, as Vlad is also down but not out. I don't think they know he is down, but he will be able to be retrieved, as his teammates are on site there to support him.
Ooh, if he jumps in, Nextro does get a grenade kill onto Vlad, leaving Sinister 5 with only 2 players, while Nextro gets another kill onto Blackstone, but KWR returns fire with a kill onto Danny, and Nivik eliminates Colossal in that process. Paddy putting down the diffuser, and it's going to be successful as they back off a little bit, while KWR and Nivik try to get a couple of picks from above. I wonder who was on the blue stairs, if they are going to go back. No, Nivik goes down into lobby, but does get contested by Nextro with a sick long-range shot onto Nivik, leaving KWR on his own, and he's on blue stairs. Contest onto Psychosa, eliminates him, leaving it in a 2v1. So he has to find one of them, and I think he does know where the diffuser is, but Nextro has a lot to say about that and eliminates KWR to get another round for Exhale.
Really good executes here from Exhale coming out. They aren't doing really default things that people might think are the best ways to attack a specific site. Instead, they are choosing just to take a specific control that they need, for example, taking Solarium, Trophy, and Dining, and then pushing in straight into Bar without having to contest that top floor shields presence whatsoever. They know that they play heavily shields. They know the floor is banned, so they can't really use that in their favor to get rid of those shields. So why not just not push there whatsoever? Choose to push in another direction. And that's exactly what they did. And they did it very successfully. They got into that bar area, they got the 2 opening picks, and then they were allowed to push in, and they held off that 3 versus 1 situation there at the end pretty well. So for Excel, they're really looking promising at the moment in their attacks, and it just shows the different strategies coming out from the 2 different teams playing in this matchup.
Yeah, the downfall of Sinister 5 there was losing that mute earlier on, because that means the Jaeger who was playing on blue stairs had to reposition, which means leaving blue stairs, you cannot watch that push onto that blue hallway into a bar or into main hallway or fireplace. So I think that little bit of a blow onto the mute was a detriment to Sinister 5. So they need to watch out for that next time they go to that site. But right now, going back to Master Bedroom, I believe Excel won that round. So we'll see what Sinister 5 has changed in their strategy in terms of holding this one up.
If history repeats itself, we will see Sinister 5 win this round, as it has been a one just back and forth constantly. No team has won more than one round in a row, so we have to see if Sinister 5 can keep that up, and if Tachanka Newig can maybe live a bit longer than he did the previous round. Like we said, we're not sure how he died, but I believe if he was still alive in that round, it would have been a lot better for them the very first time they went to Master. I believe it was the first site they went to, because those Shimika grenades are so important and so vital with their setup, because they don't have a smoke. So that is their only delay into those areas.
Delphox has a pixel peek onto that piano window, so people have to be very careful of that. But grenades are going to be flying in. I think that's a Chunker launched one of the fire grenades towards that window, or maybe the shield got blown up and that's the flames that we're seeing. We'll find out later. Oh no, it wasn't the shield. It must have been that the Chunker does for sure. He did a double take there, and that's unfortunate for him. He got the tail end of that kill. But Delphox returns fire onto Nextro, leaving the Tachanka to die again super early. But it is an even trade, but I think Sinister 5 lost more than what Exhale did. Losing that Tachanka means you lose at that heavy denial.
Indeed, that is the case, but a minute 35 left on the clock, and Sinister 5 trying to contest the Solarium push-in, as Kievet and Blackstone both situated in these areas. The smoke grenades do come swinging through, so I wonder if these players will jump into these windows. It doesn't look that way so far, but that line scan obviously coming through to delay those attacks, as Danny actually gets picked off by Blackstone. That's the pressure there, but there is an adaptation there from Excel, as they do have pressure on those bathroom windows. We didn't see Sinister 5 have that in their attacks, so hopefully this will be able to support them. But at the moment they are in a 3 versus 4 situation, so they are very disadvantaged compared to the roster of Sinister 5.
Yeah, but with only 3 of them, you can only do so much, because Sinister 5 is kind of holding back right now and just relaxing, getting into position and waiting for that push, while Exhale is trying to get maybe a free pick onto somebody trying to rotate. Sinister 5 is already in position. Sledge jumps in, but KWR does return fire onto Colossal, eliminating him. Paddy and Psychosa are kind of on the other side of each other, so they have to clean up the mess. They do know where the Jaeger is, but it's going to be difficult to get rid of him. But Paddy does take care of KWR, and Psychosa gets a kill of his own, and Vlad returns fire onto Psychosa, leaving Paddy on his own with the ace to try and clean up the work, but Vlad with that shotgun from the smoke, finishing the round off. He gets a round for Sinister 5.
So history did repeat itself as the Caster Curse comes into play. Sinister 5 win out that round and bring the scoreline to a 5-5 score for this matchup. So very close, 1-on-1 back and forth for the two teams, and really well played there from Sinister 5. It was a much better round for them in the end. After that very first time they went, they did still lose the Tachanka in the end, but a lot of damage was given forward, and that refrag was able to be gotten there from Delphox, and he just put so much pressure, not allowing Nisha to push in. A lot of utility was lost from that, and then Danny getting picked off by Blackstone. They just carried on losing pressure from multiple angles, and eventually the cookie started to crumble and they weren't able to push into that site. It was a good attempt there in the end by Paddy, but unfortunately, if you do peek through that doorway with that shotgun, it is guaranteed like 100%. I'm not going to say 100%, 98%, because a lot of times I've seen gunfights being lost to that shotgun, but unfortunately for them, they have to now try and bring the next 2 rounds if they want to win on their attacks. But for Sinister 5, they have to just keep these defense going and try and win this out to take the very first map.
Yeah, that shotgun sometimes is unpredictable. It always seems like the enemy has a better chance of that shotgun than what you. But it worked out for Sinister 5 in that time around. So Sinister 5 did win the Wine and Snowmobile side, but narrowly at that. XL almost took it. They just couldn't hold the retake. So we'll see what changes have been made in order to win this one around a 5-5 scoreline it is. So one of these two teams wants to run away at least with a 2-round lead to not make it go to overtime. Right now, Colossal is just rushing in and pushing onto those west stairs to try and get hold of Trench, but KWR gets a kill onto Colossal, and Colossal returns fire onto Nuvik. I think Colossal almost got a double there, but he just couldn't hit the rest of the shots. Colossal has rotated all the way up to, I think, Dining, and that grenade might catch him up though. There's an ADS, saves his butt, and he now knows that that hatch is open or there is somebody above him.
Very interesting there. It's a very good attempt from Sinister 5 here on the strategy, but why not reinforce that dining hatch? It doesn't even matter as Kevin gets 2 for himself, getting the, I believe it was Syke Sosa and Patty off of the board. So now it's all up to Colossal and Danny, but you see how much pressure the Sledge is able to put on from this hatch. He isn't able to do much because of those ADSs, but if the ADSs weren't there, that hatch can put so much pressure, and watch the rotate out from Kiva there. But for now, he is playing it really well, with Colossal actually pushing down to this main stairs, wants to put some pressure from this side, but Danny and Colossal here very spread out apart, and they have to try and regroup. Unfortunately, that won't be the case, as Danny does get picked off by Delphox.
Yep, Delphox is, Colossal is left alone, and the diffuser nowhere near him. Contention from Delphox as he gets picked off with an SMG-11 bullet to the face as he goes and retrieves the diffuser. He has to find 3 players. 1 minute left, so it is doable. There is a chance for him, but he does get spotted, so they know he's on main stairs. Somebody looks like they are contesting main stairs, but nope, nobody is coming down. Colossal with 5 HP, so it seems it's going to be pushing down blue, but that barbed wire is going to be make his position known, including the alarm, and they know about it as Vlad finishes it off and gets another win for Sinister 5.
Pre-fire is coming out there by both players. Actually, I was wondering if Colossal was going to win out that gunfight, but he wasn't able to. As Sinister 5 win their 2nd round in a row now on their wine cellar defense. They have not lost it once, so it just shows that that site is their more preferred site to go to than Kitchen, where XL chose to go to instead. So for this, we have to see, actually, bite my words, Sinister 5 just picked Kitchen as their last defense site. So if they win this one out, then obviously their defense is a lot stronger. But if XL want to take this to OT, they have to try and take that top floor control and put pressure on those players of Sinister 5 to really put them under pressure and get control of that site.
Yep, and we've seen some changes right now, Justin, as a Maestro has been bought. And a good read from XL as they bring the Zofia and the Ash. So they're going to be able to deal with those evil eyes pretty easily. Granted, if they get rid of the ADSs. Those ADSs have been very pesky towards XL, and it's been causing a lot of trouble for them. They haven't been able to clear out most of those ADSs to use those grenades. So maybe bringing the Zofia was that adaptation that they thought of. And as you said, they're going to Kitchen and Dining. And I don't think Sinister 5 has gone to Kitchen and Dining in this half. So we'll see how it plays out. This is a match point towards Sinister 5. So it's all or nothing for XL at this time.
Both those Maestro cams are actually placed in positions to deny that dining room plant. So if XL decide to just full on push the Solarium side, they can get into Kitchen and then maybe go for the plant once they have control. But it's obviously they need that top floor store as that Kitchen hatch is open. So Sinister 5 bringing some counter strategies towards all the mistakes that they might have, or not really mistakes, but weaknesses that Excel are looking for to exploit. Speaking of that, Vlad does get shot a bit from that drone hole. I believe it was Nick Show holding that, but he will just be able to move straight back upstairs and be able to hold upstairs as he shoots his own mute jam as well. So that wall will be able to be opened as he doesn't have one to replace it.
Yeah, a whoopsie from Vlad. He doesn't have a replacement mute jammer there. But nonetheless, I mean, as long as your enemies don't know about it, you can just play it out. Fake it until you are dead, I guess. And right now, a push from library is going to be happening as we see a flood of Exhale players around that area. Right now, Nextro is going to be challenging somebody in Solarium. He probably know. Yep, he does know about him. Might have been a pre-placed drone around there. So Blackstone is going to stick around to contest him. He has support of a Nivik. He's going to be dangerously playing with a run out and does a pick of Nextro. It's a well-deserved kill for him. He took a risk and it worked out.
Really well done there, and very interesting play actually there from Kiever. Being able to use those smoke canisters all the way from below in kitchen to throw through the hatch in some feet holes. But speaking of that, Psychosa moves forward and picks off Vlad, finally finishing him off and bringing it to a 4v4, a 4v3 actually, as he gets another one playing upstairs. And Danny as well picks off the Maestro, so those evil eyes not going to be able to stop that plant at all, as Danny another one, and not Kiev, sorry, I'm losing my words there. It's just the action is coming swinging through. Newik does get picked off there by Danny once again, getting a triple kill for himself in the round and saving his team and taking it to overtime to fight it to the very end to see who will come out on top in this matchup.
That was very close, but in a matter of about 6 seconds, I think about 3 or 4 of Sinister 5 players just got taken out. So well played by Exhale, as a flurry of kills just came raining down, and they are going back to master bedroom and office, and they're bringing the Tachanka again. I've still yet to see this Tachanka come into full play, and I don't know, do something really relevant for the round. He did get a kill at some point when he was playing, but he got picked off really early again. So he didn't cause any damage at all in terms of denying or delaying anything at all. And we have a rehost. I think somebody's PC had to restart. So we're going to be jumping onto either a small intermission, but we'll still be here. And as a rehost happens.
So just speaking of those couple rounds, William, there, obviously it's been very neck and neck. As you can see, the scoreline is 6-all apiece for the two teams. Just going on to it, it doesn't look like any side has really been attacker or defender side for those two teams. Both teams have been able to attack well and also defend well, and obviously vice versa for the two, because they did lose 3 and win 3 in both halves. So for the two teams, I think obviously XL looked like they were the stronger team on their attacks. Obviously, a couple rounds were taken away from them, but just that aggression and the coordination that they had to pick apart the players from Sinister 5 really supported them, and they are starting on attack, and we are on a attacker-sided map, statistically proven. So for them, they do have the upper hand, but Sinister 5 are going upstairs, where they did actually lose it and they won it once, but the last time that they won it, it was a bit more of an improvement from their defense. So I don't know what you think on how this overtime half is going to play out.
I don't know. I'll give it to Sinister 5 purely because of the stats so far. They've managed to win 2 rounds in a row. So if they can master that same sort of strategy to win those 2 rounds in a row, they might get away with the overtime matchup. But it looks like Exhale has made a couple of changes onto their operator picks that have sort of changed the rounds or changed the way the rounds go. So, and as you said, it's been a neck and neck, and these teams have managed to sort of get at each other's heads. But bringing that to Chunka again, it hasn't worked out about 3 times, I think, or twice. So I wonder if they could probably use someone else, or maybe a Valkyrie or a Smoke. But then again, I mean, it's their strats. They know exactly what they're doing. It's just been unfortunate for that Tachanka being taken out super early. So hopefully he plays a bit more careful, as you said, this time around as they go on to the next rounds, because overtime is really scary.
Indeed, it is. That Chichanka could be picked out to a smoke if they feel that it's necessary. But I just feel that Chichanka maybe the reason why they're using it is because he has a lot more utility than a smoke. Obviously having 14 Shemika fire grenades where smoke only has 3 gas canisters, but as well that Chichanka has a longer range gun that might be more punch to it. It is
Yeah.
obviously slower fire rate, but I think it's just personal preference for them. But if Newick does get picked off first again, then they maybe need to reconsider how he's playing that operator, if he's playing it a bit too aggressively, because he's losing a lot of that utility before he's able to use it at all. I think he's only used 2 Shemika fire grenades on the upstairs defense
Yeah,
so
by
far.
Piano.
Yeah. So it just means that's a bit of a lack of utility coming out from them.
Yeah, or maybe he doesn't have anybody supporting him wherever he's getting a push from. I think the first time I saw him, I cannot remember. We didn't see where he died from, but he died super early and he wasn't in position. So maybe he has a position where he starts off from and he falls back into piano. So maybe that needs to change. Or if he stays in piano, he's getting pushed from somewhere else and he doesn't have support. So I think they need to play around him and make sure that he's safe for a bit longer in the round in order to help him stay alive longer, and he'll be able to help them deny any sort of execute that happens from exhale. So we'll see if the fifth player does come back now. I don't know if it's going to be a full-on rehost or they're just going to wait for him or not.
While we have this time, let's move away from the game because I think we've analyzed the game enough and spoken
Hmm.
about it. William, what do you think of the new season that's coming out on Tuesday? What are your thoughts on how the meta is going to change and how the maps are actually going to change the tournament? Because Thunderbird is still banned and the new map bank is still banned in comp, but the rest of the changes to the maps will be able to be played in the upcoming matches in the new update.
Yeah, so I wonder if we're gonna see a lot more coastline actually, but I can't wait for Bank to be back though. You know why? Because the bars are gonna be removed. No more bars. That's the one thing I'm excited about, is that there's not gonna be any more bars. I always die to those bars. So, but yeah, I'm happy for the changes. I'm excited for the new season. I haven't been able to play much of the test server because my PC was broken at that point in time. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what teams have to say in terms of strategy wise, because I know a lot has changed and moved around in Bank, and some of the things have changed in Coastline. So how that will affect teams' strategies and I don't know the way they play those maps will be interesting to see in the future. As for the new operator, I don't know. I haven't played her much to have an opinion on her just yet. So, but I'll keep my ears to the ground and my eyes on a lot of videos to see what players think about it.
I believe Thunderbird is really going to change the meta up quite a bit. But we do have the last remaining player of Sinister 5 back in the lobby. Kiever is back. He just had to restart his PC quickly. So we will be underway with our overtime match on the very first map. Actually, on this best of 3 versus XL versus Sinister 5. So we'll have to see who will take this one out and take the very first upper hand, as the next 2 maps are Villa and Clubhouse. So it's going to be 2 interesting maps as well to really see who will take it to the end, or maybe we'll see overtime on all 3 maps. We will have to wait and see. For this, we'll have to go back to master bedroom and office and see who will take that round.
I think Sinister 5 was listening. I mean, they did bring the Valkyrie, but they still kept the Tachanka though. But it's good to see the Valkyrie in play. I do love Valkyrie, even though I don't main her anymore. Hey, I do love some Valkyrie. So we'll see how they utilize her. I'm pretty sure she's going to be mostly playing downstairs until she's utilized that C4 and have to help upstairs. But they do have the Wamai and the Vlad. Hopefully he doesn't shoot his own mute jammer this time. And KWR is probably going to be on the roam, whether it's going to be a split hold extending onto library, or if it's going to be a heavy hold on site, especially for that Solarium push, we will see. So far, it doesn't look like it's going to be a spread out into library. So if Exhale reads into this, they can quickly make headway into library and make a fast attack onto that. Some cameras being thrown outside. Whether somebody will get caught off guard or not, we'll find out.
Very interesting camera placement there, but that's to watch that bathroom window balcony there that the players on XL are going on continuously. So to just contest them, give them a bit more intel. And now, but it doesn't look that way as XL has changed up their push. They are not going for Solarium anymore. They're going for that library and office or K9 balcony attack to try and get into office and go for that default plant.
He spots out a couple of feetsies on the drone hole, and he's going to stick around to see if that player comes back, but Danny's not returning anytime soon as he's going to go for that double window. Colossal does know about this angle on top of the dresser or bookcase or whatever, and he does get that kill as Colossal brazenly tries to peek, and that didn't work out for him at all. That player on top of the roof is a very good angle to keep sort of control over Piano and anybody trying to peek that window. So if anybody tries to move around, especially that Tachanka, well, I think that's how he died the very first couple of rounds, that he was heavily contested and he couldn't rotate anywhere. So right now, it looks heavy onto Piano and bathroom. Maybe KWR might be able to swing outside. Nuvik actually jumps out of the same place where KWR jumped out before and does get 2 picks of his own. That's onto the Nextro and Psychosa.
Perfectly timed there from Newegg. I believe it's that Valcam outside that we gave him all that intel to go for that jump out as soon as Nextro tried to use his Ayana clone on his operator. He was jumped out, and then the other one just was unaware of the location of the jump out, swung wide and got picked off as well. So very well done there for Sinister 5, and Newegg specifically showing us why he should be playing the Chunker and not the Smoke instead. But going back to the attackers, they have 45 seconds left on the clock to try and push in here, and there are man advantages. Danny is just full flash here, but the 2 players will be pushing through those Shamika grenades now coming through to delay that default plant spot.
Yep, there's those Tachanka fire grenades. Somebody from below in fireplace is Vlad. He's not shooting his own new jammers, but he eliminates Paddy. KWR gets a kill onto Danny, and Blackstone with the final kill, ending it for Exhale and getting another round for Sinister 5. They are on the lead in this overtime match point, and that goes one more round to go. So if history proves itself and they win Master Bedroom and they win Snowmobile the other time and won those 2 rounds, but this time they're going to be attacking, so things might turn out different though.
Indeed. So like you said, if history repeats itself, we will see the last 15 round of this overtime. But to get to that point, Paddy, or not Paddy, Exhale and them have to go and win out their Master Bedroom defense. They do have the similar lineup that they did from the very start, bringing that Valkyrie to give that intel for Sinister 5. They do not have anything to counter. They don't have an IQ. So those Valcams, if they're placed in perfect positions, they will not be able to be spotted out. And maybe we see some jump outs again happen from Exhale. That did happen from the side of Sinister 5 because of that intel.
Yep, so far, history shows Sinister 5 has won an attack onto Master Bedroom, but that was later on. So Exhale, if the order goes according to what the book says, then Exhale should win this round. But let's see if Sinister 5 has anything to say about that. And right now, the difference is that Exhale is spreading out all the way into Library, expending the Mozzie, and probably the Valkyrie will be joining him. And the Smoke may stick around in either onsite or in Piano. I'm curious to see where the Aruni plays this position out. So the attack so far looks like it's a 2-3 split from Solarium. I'm pretty sure Nivik is probably going to go downstairs again somewhere. If not garage downstairs, it's probably going to be in bar or main lobby side of things to try and contest somebody roaming down there. There's an extra downstairs ready for anyone trying to push from West Main or Trophy Room.
Colossal also roaming down below here. He will just push back up to that Ivy stairs, but he's going to be heavily contested here by Delphox as he's trying to push into this mudroom window as well. He is accompanied by Nivik on that games window, and we see Blackstone all the way here outside main lobby, so just trying to cut out the rotation of these roamers. As Nivik does get Colossal, he gets picked off. That's the Mozzie off of the board as Danny just tries to make a rotate, and Nietzsche gets picked off as well. Not looking so good for Excel at the moment as Sinister 5 are just steamrolling through their attack. They got that momentum, they got the 2 opening picks. Now they just need to try and clean it out. For Excel, they need to get a pick for themselves and just hold these angles being contested here by the attackers of Sinister 5.
Yep, they need a heavy shuffle right now as that C4 gets shot out. I wonder if it landed on that Maverick hole or if it was shot out mid-air. Sarkosa is going to be heavily pushed back. They don't have that shield on top of the pianos, so it's going to be difficult to hold that. KWR takes the head of Danny as Delphox also takes the head of Sarkosa, leaving Paddy alone. Now, surely they are going to close this one out. Paddy misses his shots onto the guy on the window. Paddy knows somebody is attacking the bathroom side of things. Down somebody and takes out the head of Sledge at that. Somebody is still down but not out, and Blackstone walks in and says, I've had enough of the shenanigans. I'm going to end this round so we can win this game and dust it off. Well played by Sinister 5 as they win Chalet.
Well played, Sinister 5. Really hard fought victory for them. And well played to Exile. They aren't out just yet. They do still have one more map to try and win out and then take it to a map 3, which will be Clubhouse. So for that actual game, we did speak a lot about it, but Excel, they're just showing the type of team they are. Same with Sinister 5, both teams just playing really well. They both had mistakes and both had their victories in the end. Just Sinister 5 coming out a bit more. I think that positioning from them really worked out in their favor. Just that aggression, maybe the XL defenders overextended a bit much on that last roam and weren't able to really do anything to push forward. So they were just very isolated, and that caused them to die, and then bringing the advantage all the way in favor to Sinister 5. So Sinister 5 currently have the map advantage, but now we have to see what is in store for us in map 2.
Yep, and map 2 being Villa. Everybody probably knows by now that's my favorite map because I've said it so many times. But yeah, you're right, Justin. Sinister 5 did muster up the courage and the strategy to ship things around and get a win for themselves. And that Tachanka finally came into play on the last round. He had suffered so much, but he survived and was very impactful on that 2 rounds, a round before the final round. So off to Villa. Any expectations as to what will happen? Will Exhale take this one, or will Sinister 5 run away with a 2-0 victory?
Well, for Sinister 5, they played really well in Chile. If they can keep that bit of synergy from them going through to Villa, I think they will be able to get on top. But same for Excel. Don't count them out just yet. They are a very good team. You can see in their play style. So they might have something in their sleeve. I don't think we've seen any of these two teams play Villa just yet. I have seen Sinister 5 play Villa before in the past, but that was in a different tournament. So for Excel, just that bit of unpredictability from them is going to be their upper hand in this matchup.
Yep. So in terms of bans, though, are you seeing the mirror surviving, or are you kind of seeing any target bans? I'm expecting a mirror to probably survive this one, and that might be a downfall for one of the teams. I don't know who's going to let the mirror go, but if that mirror is going to be played, then it's going to be dangerous for one of these two teams. But I'm probably expecting a Gridlock to be banned out. Just seeing how heavily she was played on that round. And she could be very effective in Villa as well, because it does present itself to be a very roam-heavy map, and it presents itself for many, many types of flanks with all of those staircases around the map.
Indeed, I think for bans from my side, I believe that Thatcher might become a ban just because he is the most common ban for the defenders. And of course, he brings so much utility. And I believe XO are starting on attack. So if Sinister 5 want to get rid of that Thatcher, they need to do it so that they can get that upper hand on their defense on the defender sided map. But speaking of that, I think we are going to go into a small break to wait for the two teams that did ask for 5 minutes. So we will take a short intermission just to get some water, just to give our voices a bit of a rest. We would speak for 3 hours straight, but we believe this is going to be a long game. So we just need to prepare ourselves for what comes next.
All right. See you in a couple of minutes.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see. When your stars are burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. I'll find valid in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
You and I come together like we can change the world every
Go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and the action continues. And this time in the Tuscan Villa, as we see Sinister 5 versus Exhale, with Sinister 5 taking that first map in Chalet. So, Justin, we're back with this action, dude, and yeah, we were talking a bit earlier about the bans and how this match might play out. What are you thinking?
So for this matchup, of course, Excel have to win this if they want to keep themselves in the game. They are starting on attack, so statistically proven they are disadvantaged because Sinister 5 have the defender-sided map on their side, but we have seen Excel really strive through their attacks and really just show their coordination and synergy. So same as Sinister 5, but Excel have proven to do it a bit better at times. So maybe that Lion/Yin combo that they tend to use will play out in this map, or maybe we'll see a counter ban towards that Lion, or the Ella, for example, as Danny, I believe, will be able to play that Ella Shoddy really effectively on the top main stairs with the shield, or even roaming down below. For Sinister 5, I believe they'll maybe ban out that Kaid or the Mira on their side, maybe a Thatcher to really just keep their utility, or even a Flores can be banned out, / Jackal to just save their util as well, maybe play the bit of the shield meta in the past. But all the players are in the lobby, so we will get right on the way and we will see the bans for ourselves live in action as we get into this matchup right now.
Yeah, and I firstly have to apologize to my man Syke Sosa, because we keep pronouncing his name wrong, as production said. So it's supposed to be Syke Sosa or Syke Sos, and we keep on saying Psychosa. So sorry, my friend, but we will correct that. So moving along, as we've mentioned the ban, the first one is Thatcher. That is no big shock there. And the second ban from Exhale, I'm either expecting a Nomad or a Gridlock, like we were saying earlier. If it's a Gridlock, then it is very targeted, because I think both teams used the Gridlock in that previous match for those flanks, but I may be wrong though. And you said it was Flores.
So Flores ban coming out there, going to save those shields utility from the defenders of Sinister 5. That means we might end up seeing a heavy shield meta if it comes to play, because actually Exhale banned out that operator, so they might play the shields on their defense, and they actually ban the mirror. So not Sinister 5 who will choose to ban out that mirror, more Exhale, because they don't want to have to play against those black mirror windows, just stopping them dead in their tracks. You can melee it and break the glass and stop the ability to see through it, but still to get to that point, usually the way you play a mirror window is you have it there with headite holes or peak holes on the left or right side of it to put pressure, and the final ban will actually actually be a Kaid. So we did say the Mira Kaid combo bans for the two teams coming through just to stop that utility and make it easier for the attackers to push into the map.
Yeah, I've yet to see somebody actually survive long enough to run up to a mirror and melee it. By that time, if you're that close, you are dead meat. There's no way you're surviving that. So, mirror is out of the board, and we are seeing a new addition from Sinister 5, and that is the Oryx time. Good lineup here. Smoke Melusi, Wamaya Jaeger, and Oryx is going to be 6th pick onto the Echo, as the Jackal is going to be 6th pick onto the Lion from Exhale's side of things. So they do have a hard breacher, though. Does Lion have a hard breach? Then one of those hard breaches?
He does have a secondary
I
hard
think he
breach
does.
gadget. Yeah.
So he might be able to support any of the hard breach if the ace does fall early or does fall short in any sort. So right now, ABG, I think, is the site of choice for the first one, and that is an expected site, so we'll see what's different this time. A lot of the times we've been seeing teams leaving one of those panels in study or panels facing study open, and that looks like that's going to be the case this time around, and putting some head holes there to contest anybody onto the study window or study balcony, which does work out sometimes, but sometimes that is a deadly thing to play with, because if the attackers do get hold of study and main stairs and main hallway, classical hallway, then you are in big trouble.
Indeed, but now the attack is going to start coming into the map. They do have that Lion once again, so Danny proving to be a Lion main in these matchups that he has played. He has statistically played Lion every single round in multiple of these matches, except I believe for the DNMK game where Lion was banned, and then obviously now and then where the 6-pick comes through. But that Lion just really helping Excel quite a bit in their attacks. We'll have to see how it helps here on Villa, because we have not seen them play on Villa, but it does look like they're going to be doing a study push for themselves to maybe get a plant into that aviator risk spot. But Vlad picks off Danny on the window, the Astro window, and he gets a wallbang. He just read through those shots being pre-fired through there, and he gets a pick for himself. The smoke actually to get the kill, so well done to him there, as Blackstone now trying to contest. He is being droned out here in library, but there will be somebody to try and contest him, as that Ayana clone is there to support. Nuik here trying to pre-fire onto the study belt to get another pick for himself, as Nuik actually playing the top red stairs. He will try and pick up those ADSs and rotate off of there, or maybe just position it in a better location to support himself.
Yep, I'm sorry, Danny, but he should know better there than to break that window right in the middle of it. You are going to get pre-fired, because that is one of the first contestants that you have to deal with in this map. Right now, Nextro and his teammates do know about some of those holes and lines of sight on the floor leading onto piano, and I think they have some holes in library as well from Vault. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to deal with, and a couple of rumors downstairs. They're sending a Gemini clone that gets destroyed, but KWR finds a kill onto Saxosa and leaving them on a 4v5 situation. KWR did get a little bit of health taken off of him, but his position is going to be stood, and as Nivik is also going to hold his ground with Blackstone roaming around. That player downstairs or main stairs might be caught out. No, they miss a couple of shots from him from the bar area from those holes there. The Sledge does know about it, and Paddy answers back with a kill onto Nivik, and Delphox refrags onto Paddy, but gets downed. Somebody gets downed in the process. That was Vlad. Colossal and Nextro finishes those kills. And yeah, Colossal is health is very low, and Nextro is gonna push down onto classical hallway.
Now trying to peek this angle. He does spot the angles. He gets a double kill for himself in the round so far, killing off Kiever, trying to get that drone through, but Delphox just swinging wide and he picks him off as Colossal gets the final kill for the round. Being a round that they shouldn't have actually won, being in a 3 versus 5, and then being able to come back and clutch that out. Really well done from Excel. For Sinister 5, maybe they needed to play a bit more passively in that 3 versus 5 situation. Just hold the angles and wait for the attackers to push into their side. But instead, they were contesting that mainstays push, and fortunately for XL, they won all those gunfights out. And whoa, look there, they've got a well-deserved round for themselves. But for Sinister 5, they will reattempt Aviator in games. Hopefully now they can change up those mistakes as we do see a 6-pick back onto the Echo from the Maestro, and that Jackal actually bringing a Monty. Danny will no longer be on the Lion, but a Monty instead is going to be played out by him.
Yeah, that player holding down mainstays, I'm not sure if it was the Wamai or the Jaeger, shouldn't have died in that situation. He had support from the bar with those holes leading onto mainstays, so he should have been able to contest that. I wonder if the sledge did manage to kill the person in bar from those holes, or if it was the mainstays person that died. But it's that connection there was completely lost. And I think that's what ruined it for a Sinister 5. But nonetheless, moving on to the next round, I think they know what the mistakes are, and they're going to be changing things. Are they going to be changing things around? Did we see a Malusi in the round before that? I don't quite remember. I don't think so. I think they had an Aruni, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't a Rooney, so they're going to change that up and slow down some of these attackers. But lately, dealing with the Banshees has been quite easily. You just turn around and shoot them very quickly and move on, continuing doing what you so please.
Nietzsche now trying to contest this art room area as Psych Sosa is as well here by this main double door with that Monty, but he does get picked off there by Newick. So well done from him playing that Wamai at the top of main stairs. Danny will now have to fall out as he goes back onto the drones, but he's all by himself. He'll need Colossal or maybe Nixtro to come and push with him, to support him, to try and gain control of that main stage. Very good tactic from them to try and push it out, but the defense from Sinister 5 really blocking them in their tracks while they try and take control.
Yep, and there goes those shots from above. We might see a grenade from below. The Monty, total disregard of anybody pushing that Wamai back, and he might push him in position for the sledge to kill him, but the sledge is off position now, pushing behind him, and a pre-fire from the Wamai does miss the sledge, but he's doing a good job backing off while pre-firing, conserving some ammo. But Paddy on the other side of things gets a kill onto Delphox. So that's making progress to even out the man count and killing the Echo. That's a massive low blow onto Sinister 5's lineup. But Colossal is making headway onto Study to help out whoever was on the balcony. Good grenade throw. It doesn't get the kill, but does heavy damage onto the smoke. So Vlad has to be careful as how he plays the rest of this round.
Vlad very low on HP, but the Monty pushing wide into that smoke canister as he does lose a lot of HP. Colossal as well, that smoke canister proving prominence for Vlad there as Newick gets another pick. He does down Paddy as well, but will he know that he is down? The impact comes swinging through. It does not do any damages. It does actually do some damage onto Danny instead. He will try and push out there to try and get the revive onto his teammate and get that diffuser. Newick knows something is up as he's just swinging through into Study, constantly trying to contest the player, but there's no comms from the two players as Nisha gets picked off, and now it's a 1 versus 4 for this Monty. He's just going to sit here and wait as a Nitro goes through, and it does some damage to Danny and kills him off, finishing him off the round. Also almost killing Newick, but unfortunately that was not, or actually fortunately that was not the case for Sinister 5 as they take the round, evening out the scoreline once again to a 1 scoreline.
Yep, we've seen this tale in the previous match, Justin, where they start off 1-1, and is it going to be the same thing, back and forth between these rounds? I'm expecting Villa to be quite different. Predict that one of these players is going to run away with a couple of rounds on the lead, but I don't know, maybe I might be corrected and it might still be a back and forth. So far, a Goyo has been bought and a Mozzie has also been bought. In addition to that is Vlad on the Bandit, but Exhale is keeping the same similar lineup with the addition of an IQ on the board. So that's going to help in terms of getting rid of some of the utility in terms of the Bandits and possibly the ADSs from the Jaeger from below.
Indeed, and now with this defense onto the statue and trophy area, that Mozzie going to be able to support on the roam to try and delay the drones from the attackers, which I think is a good strategy for Sinister 5 at the moment, because Excel's drone game is really well done for them at the moment. They're able to use that intel and just have so much more intel than the defenders when they're pushing into those areas, as well with that Jackal being there for the attackers, going to be also supporting clearing out those roamers, as we do see Nivik and, well, I believe that's Vlad as on the roam as well. I might be mistaken.
I think it is the Vlad, but Justin, look at the spread from the defenders. We have Nuvik down here. Oh, Vlad is back on site, putting down his battery charges. But all the way into study and the bottom of main door is most of Sinister 5's players to meet Exhale attackers as they run into the map. Probably going to be trying to get a pick or two, and that's going to start off with Nivik. No, and Nivik, yes, I am correct, getting a pick onto Danny. So the damage is done. Time for him to run back towards a site and possibly wait for somebody else. A couple of runouts from these players. And this is quite a mess right now. All of Sinister 5's players are spread out, and they're just going to be trying to put as much damage as they possibly can towards Exhale and soften their push or slow them down considerably a lot.
These defenders just playing here patiently. They do have the man advantage now. They just need to keep it out, as Psychosose is aware or maybe fearful of his flank there, as Nixo just swings into this 90 area. He does have full control of the sites, or not sites, sorry, of that 90 hallway, as now the rest of the defenders are here to try and contest it. Colossal here in this red 90 hallway, knowing that this player might be flanking. Do they spot him out? They do know his location. He swings wide, but he doesn't get the kill, as Colossal wins out that gunfight, bringing the man count back to an even 4-4 as he walks away with just over 50 HP.
Yep, the damage was done. He wasted a couple of seconds there and got away with it. And guess who's going to get away with another kill? That's Stealth Fox onto Saxosa right now. Vlad using those murder holes to see who's going to be pushing into Wolf from 90 hallway onto landing. Delphox on the prowl right now. He might be able to, if he can hear this guy proning downstairs, he might be able to find him, but he doesn't, as he runs away from that direction, and Colossal gets a free kill onto Delphox, but KWR returns the fire, but he does fall to Nextro on top of that, and Blackstone with a shotgun onto Nextro to not equalize the man count, actually run away in terms of man count, and Colossal is left alone to do the damage. But Vlad is full HP. Blackstone is only about 22 HP left. So this is completely doable for Colossal, as he only has 10 seconds left. If he finds a kill, he might be able to get away with this one. He goes for the defuse. They do know where he is, and now Colossal is going to make the push, but he jumped downstairs, if I'm not correct. Yes, he did jump downstairs, but he might have time to go back and finish the kill off, as it takes 7 seconds to defuse. Misses the knife. Oh my word, my friend, if you messed that up, you were gonna hear a lot from your teammates, but that was enough for him to get the knife anyway and get a round for Sinister.
I'm very confused there from Excel Colossal why he chose to push off of the diffuser, because if he just sat there patiently and went for the diffuse and waited for the person to push close to him and then peeked, he would have been in a much better position than chasing for the kill, especially when that smoke has the ability to jump overwards. Maybe it was a mistake, maybe he missed or he got off of it by mistake and then couldn't go back on without losing it out to time. But that's unfortunate, as Sinister 5 take advantage, or Blackstone take advantage of that mistake and wins the second round, as Sinister 5 will actually go down to dining and kitchen as their tertiary bomb site.
Yeah, I think he was in that sort of predicament where there was enough time for him to challenge the player, and there was enough time for him to stick the plant and maybe it was an executive call made and he said, you know what, I might as well challenge this guy. And if he's there, then I'll win the gunfight. Or maybe there was a call given that he was low HP. So taking that fight, I could see it happening. And a good read from who was it, KWR on the smoke still? Good read, or was it somebody else?
I think it was Blackstone actually. Yeah, it was
Oh, yeah,
Blackstone.
Blackstone, and good read from him though, from him for jumping down into that hallway downstairs. Because if he did stick around, I'm pretty sure he might have lost that gunfight.
Indeed, that would have been the case because that diffuser might have gone down, or Colossal would have jumped off and maybe been able to spray, but we never know because it was the shotgun versus the L85. But like we said in the previous game, that is very inconsistent. We don't know who might take the gunfight in the end, but enough rambling on from us. Kitchen and dining for the defenders. They are choosing to hold top floor pretty heavily into this bed closet area, but Colossal here with the rest of his teammates will try and push them out from study side. Nisha and him, and actually Psych Sosa all the way that side, and I believe Paddy and the last remaining player Danny is all the way on master bedroom balcony.
Yep. Once this information is relayed to the rest of the team, Sinister 5 is going to have to make a few shuffles in terms of utility-wise, because there's a lot of utility being based on the bedroom side of things and closet side of things, especially with somebody playing dangerously close on that closet doorway. So now they're going to have to move. They're going to have to reshuffle their utility. And in doing so, it might give XL a chance to rotate their attack to the other side into bedroom, which seems like somebody has gone to that bedroom side of things. Blackstone with a lead-off kill onto Colossal right now. No refrag capability just yet. Nobody is close to them. So Colossal on the sledge is out of the board. Nextra takes a little bit of damage all the way to half HP. Like Sosa brazenly pushes in, but there's an angle from Nuvik downstairs, eliminating him completely, leaving it in a 3v5 situation for XL.
Well done to Sinister 5 to keep this one out. A very heavily extended defense for them on the top floor, as they have put a lot of utility in place there to defend it, and they've done so pretty effectively. Now the last three remaining attackers on XL have to try and get rid of these defenders up that are still upstairs. A minute 10 left on the clock, still a lot of time being wasted as a player of Blackstone gets spotted out, but Paddy actually picking off Newick there in the memorial area as Danny loses some HP, but he does win out that gunfight, downing Delphox all the way inside. Them trying now to push into Yaz. Newick just turned, or actually Vlad turns his back. This Jaeger just being peeked off there, and Smoke trying to contest from above onto this player pushing from down below. Will Nisha be able to spot him out? He does, as the misplay from Kievid comes as he tries to drop out onto the shield, and the player gets spotted down in the bottom of Astro, but Vlad wins out that gunfight. Delphox is picked up, but Danny pushes through and picks off Blackstone for himself. Now it will be a 2 versus 1 situation as Delphox also gets picked off there. The plant will be being attempted here onto this island area, but that castle barricade in memorial just going to be able to stop him from rotating through. He doesn't know the location of Danny prone underneath these headout holes. He will wait for the peak to try and get an angle. The barbed wire gives some sound away, the pre-fire shots, but he'll just sit patiently as he's going to get into a 1v1 gunfight here with Paddy. If he just plays it patiently, he does see the angle, but he moves just forward back, playing time perfectly. For this, it is XL's round. They just have to sit and wait. 15 seconds left on the clock. Vlad peeking wide, he doesn't spot out the player, and Danny gets up and gets the final kill, winning out the round for XL, bringing us back to an even scoreline of 2-0.
Well, it did turn out different. Sinister 5 did win 2 rounds in a row, but XL still brought it back to even it out. So yeah, it is a back and forth, and whichever way you look at it, and well played from XL in that round, as a flurry of kills just came back. Besides them being on the back end of the man count, they still managed to bring it back, even though the trades were coming in back and forth. I don't know how the hell they managed to get the upper hand at the end. But nonetheless, they did get the round, and now it seems like Sinister 5 is going all the way back up to Aviator and Games Room. and we'll see what they do differently this time. They've lost it the first time and won it the second time around. And so far, the lineup is still looking the exact same as before.
It looks like Excel's clutch potential is really high because they've been put in two situations where they're in a 3 versus 5 situation, and since the 5 have not been able to clutch it out. So that either means that Excel have really good clutch potential, which I think they do, or since the 5 are over aggressing after that peak, they are starting to, let's say, slow down a bit and then just forget that, okay, they have the man advantage. Now they start to relax and think, okay, well, we can calm down. We don't need to do anything at the moment. But that is not the case. I think just also a lack of information in some rounds. We did see them have the Valkyrie, but where were those Valcams positioned to give that intel to the defenders upstairs and not allow them to be pushed out from behind? But that is the previous round. We'll have to see if they go back to that site later. But for now, they are back in Aviator, and they will have a similar setup to the previous time. 2 shields being played, one facing to top main, and then one facing all the way to Aviator and Games bus door.
Yep, and 4 of them are going to be pushing downstairs towards main stairs, and I think a couple of them are going to go to study side of things. So that's 1 player missing, and I believe that player is probably going to go towards the 90 window, or they might push across from bedroom side of things, which is ill-advised, and I hope I'm wrong in saying so, because you don't want to be pushing alone completely. Because as soon as you get a taken off the board, then there's no refrag potential at all, which is what looks like is happening in terms of what Psychosa is doing with the Ash. And if the defenders do recognize this, then they'll just capitalize on that. Right now, Nextro looks like he's going to be supporting the Ash by pushing through library and catching anybody trying to rotate. So I guess I am wrong in saying what I'm saying, but yeah, it's very dangerous for the Ash to be all the way out there on their own.
Indeed, but I believe it's to clear out Blackstone there on the Melusi playing down in the bottom of library, trying to support Newik, or actually Kira, as he holds that top red area. But that will not be the case at the moment, as the attackers have actually fallen off on that contest from below. But there will be a contest here by Wolf Window as the line scan supports them to stop. Psychosa will just move back as Blackstone actually does get picked off there by Nextro. Good opening pick for them. The players being spotted out now, but that Lion from Danny back on the play, going to be able to support their push in as they have a minute 10 left to do so.
That window from below where I think who was it? Somebody spotted somebody rappelling up to that window. No, Nuvik with an impact on the floor does spot out Nextro and take him out. And Delphox also takes out Paddy and gets a double for himself onto Psychosa, leaving Exhale with only 2 players left. Colossal very close to death. If they sniff on him, that's it. He's done. 43 seconds left. What's going to happen right now? Danny just Colossal just picking off some of the utility that might give their position away. That's in terms of the Echo Drone and whatever magnets that were left. So right now, either Colossal has to push in and get a pick before he dies, because if he takes 1 single bullet, he's dead. And Danny gets a pick onto Vlad on the other side of things and starts to put the diffuser down. The coverage from Sledge is there, but he doesn't have enough to survive. The plant does go down and he only has 2 players to find left. He does have an idea of where both of them are due to Colossal giving him the intel, but when he's brought down by KWR, and that's going to be a round win for Sinister 5. Well played from them on that round. Very close. XL, they almost got that round win in the end.
Really good team play there from that Echo and that Jaeger to try and clutch that one out. Jaeger had a very good plan to push from Brookside because they knew the plant went down in the bar area, so they knew where he could only be. So that it was either he contested him on the 90 hallway or contested him directly in bar, and that Echo drone just being brought out, concussing the Lion, not allowing him to really hear anything or see anything in that moment, and then being able to get the kill. So really well done from them. Really well executed. They are going back to Trophy, so they did win the last time they played in Trophy, so maybe they'll be able to win it out again. But it looks like the Jackal is also being brought on now, and actually Ace is being swapped onto Psychosa from the Maverick. there. So a bit of swap for operators for the teams in this round.
Yeah, so if Exhale win this round, we'll see a tale of a Chalet X kind of a play out in terms of a half and a 3-3 scoreline split. Or is Sinister 5 going to run away with this? If Sinister 5 runs away with this, it's going to be deadly for Exhale because then the tail will continue with a back and forth, but Sinister 5 will have the lead round. So we'll see how this setup is going to happen. I'm pretty sure they're going to set it up the same way, only this time they might be a bit conservative in terms of utility, just to find out exactly where Exhale is pushing from, and they can rotate their utility around to play it much safer. Even though they did win this round, they have to be careful because they do want that round lead when it comes to that split.
Indeed, they do. If they take a 4-2 split on their defense, it will be a bit of, I wouldn't say easier, but they will have the advantage on their attacks. Whereas if it's a 3-3, we might end up seeing the same result as the previous map that we had on Chalet, because it was 3-3, and then nobody really could get the advantage from the very beginning. One team got it around, and then they traded it straight back out. So for Excel, that is their plan, to try and take it from the very start, win this next attacking round, and then they're on defense with a 3-3 split where they'll feel a bit more safer. But as for Sinister 5, they are looking for that 4-2 split so that when they get to their attacks, they don't feel as pressured as they should be.
Yep, and right now all the stops have been put out, a couple of holes in there, and contesting that balcony with all 4, if not 5 players of Exhale being on that balcony. Colossal does get a pick onto Nevik, who is playing brazenly overzealous and does get punished from that. Blackstone putting up the shield last minute, so he knows the push is coming all the way from Study. This window does break and he might be able to spot somebody. No, he doesn't, as they are deep into the balcony with 1 player on the ground floor and all 4 of the others pushing Study. So if they get hold of Study, they may be able to push in and get hold of 90 and finally red stairs and landing onto Wolf. So we'll see how this attack goes. Everybody knows where almost everybody is. And now the smoke is going to be heavily pressured. Not sure where that came from. Might be a grenade from below.
I believe it was a grenade from below. Actually, are there nades? Yeah, there are nades from the sledge. So that got rid of that Goya shield sitting in split, holding that red hallway. But there are still 2 other shields contesting that trophy area that they have to get rid of. Those ash charges coming through from below now to try and get rid of the bandit charges on the wall, as Kira does get picked off there by Paddy. The Jackal being works to pick off those roamers playing in that master bedroom area. The drone does come through. Vlad's location is given away, but he will just rotate as well, as Niksha actually gets picked off by Delphox there. I believe it was from bottom Astro. That line scan coming through now, stopping the defenders as Danny actually gets a pick onto Vlad. That's a bandit off of the board. Blackstone also gets dropped down as a Nitro comes swinging through from Delphox. It does not connect onto anyone. Danny kills Blackstone with he's gone 6. I think he ran out of ammo, and now the plant is being attempted. The plant is down by Exhale, and Delphox is left in a 1 versus 5, contesting the player here in this red 90 hallway. He does pick him off. That's Danny off the board. 3 more players remaining with 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yep, he's got a high fire rate gun with that Vector. So all it takes is about 20 seconds to eliminate a couple of Exhale players. It is doable, but if he takes his time, then he is going to run out of time. Right now, I think he hurt the player from inside bedroom, but that's not good enough as Psych Sosa takes care of that situation. So it is a 3-3 on the split, as we've seen before in the previous map as well. And this is going to be a little bit of a bad situation for Sinister 5 because of, as you said, Villa being a heavy defender-sided map. So they're going to have to pull out all the stops right now to take a lead on this match.
Indeed, that will have to be the case for the attackers of Sinister 5, but they do have a completely different lineup coming out from their side. They don't have a Lion, they don't have a Jackal, they have that Twitch instead, but the Twitch will actually be 6-picked onto the Sophia, and they do have a Nomad there to support their flanks, so there won't be any flanks coming out from XL on their defense. But we do see that Ella being brought out there from the 6 pick on Danny, so him making a difference in his play. He will have that shotgun, as we did speak before the game about him playing that Lion and Ella shotgun meta, and just those two operators working very well for him.
Yep, so as you said, that Nomad on the Del Fox is going to be deterring any flanks. So whether it'll come in full effect or not, we will find that out later, because you only get 3 air jabs. There's, I think, 3 staircases, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2. Yep, there's 3 staircases, but there's also jump outs. So yeah, where you spend those air jabs, you have to be smart about it, and you have to be sure that that is the route that you know a defender is going to be taking. But right now, they're going to have to deal with that shield on top of main stairs, which is a default shield to deal with anybody either coming up main stairs or coming from a study side of things, or pushing that study balcony. Right now, it looks like a Jaeger on the next row is roaming around. Not 100% exactly sure where that is, but it looks like somewhere downstairs. It looks like he's gone upstairs now to contest anybody coming from a trophy side of things. I mean, from statue side of things.
The attack now here on its way from Sinister 5 and 2 minutes 25, so not a lot of time wasted by the defenders just yet, as Nisha gets picked off by Vlad with a wall bang from that wolf window. So well played to him, good coordination and that intel gathering from his teammates to give him that bit of information to take control of that kill. Kevin is low on HP, so he is 55 HP. I'm not sure where he got damaged from. I believe it might have been a C4 from Colossal, but Colossal will be able to fall back as all 5 attackers are in this master bedroom statue side on the site.
Yep, they have all the map coverage they need so far. Hey, my friend, get out of the way. We need to make haste. We only have 1 minute and 40 seconds left to make this push. Why are you gathering intel right now on a door frame? But nonetheless, they are going to be pushing that 90 hallway, and they're going to be keeping hold of red stairs. Right now, it looks like they have their backs turned towards red stairs. Every single one of them pushing towards classical hallway, except for one of them pushing back onto the red door, the landing door. That grenade not being thrown all the way down is to deter anybody that's playing in a position in games room, I think. And now I wonder if anybody's going to be making a flank from the side of Exhale. Doesn't look like it, with 3 players stuck in games room and 2 of them stuck in the vault. But Danny does make a jump out. He almost got him, but Blackstone is ready for it, taking Danny's head off. And this push has been made into sight. Right now, Exhale is suffering with a flurry of bullets just showering in on him. And as Nurberg gets a double in that process and a win for Sinister 5.
Well played to Sinister 5 there. I thought for a second when Danny was playing in that vault with that shotgun, he was going to be able to swing out and get the kill, but that's not the case, as Blackstone was aware of that play coming out and just won that gunfight, and Newick just being able to strive through there with that Ayana with and then be able to pick off those players from Sinister 5. So really well executed attack from Sinister 5. Now they'll have to attack Trophy and Statue, however. So I wonder if they'll take a master bedroom push, or if they'll push and try and clear out the roamers from the other side and take Study. As for Exhale, they do have a Frost once again in play. So those Frostman's going to be able to support their defense if they decide to push master bedroom, and be able to give them multiple angles to, the attackers need to have guns up when they're pushing, and then jump into a window. They get caught off guard by a Frostmat, and then that is a free and easy pick for Exhale.
Yeah, and as we can see, they've doubled up on the projectile denial with the Jaeger and the Wamai. So they'll have a bit of an easier time in terms of any of the grenades being thrown in. And I think they only have, Sinister 5 only has 1 person with, 2 people with grenades. So that's still a lot to deal with, but it'll be easier for them. They do have the Valkyrie for intel, so that's good news, and good news to see from that. And Paddy with those laser gates is going to be stopping or deterring any attackers from coming in. So Sinister 5 does have a lot in their hands to deal with in terms of utility, and we'll see how they deal with that. The push is going to come from a Study side of things, as both of these 2 teams have been pushing from a lot. So Exhale does probably know about this, and and we'll see how they contest or deal with it. Looks like the sledge is going straight in. I wonder if he was rappelling in or if he was droning.
Indeed, I think he might have got a live drone there from one of his teammates, but actually no, he didn't go through. He just rappelled onto the balcony there as he does decide to drone further. There is a player contesting here in Aviator. Nivik does spot him out, but he moves away as he sees him and just allows that player to run away, but he is not gone for much longer as Vlad does pick him off, and that is the very first pick in the favor of Sinister 5. These Aruni gates now being rotated here by Paddy as they now know where the attack is coming from.
Yeah, Colossal, or I don't know if Colossal did play the Jaeger before, and in this process, when I'm speaking, Nivik gets a kill onto Nextro, deleting some of Exhale's players, putting them down to a 3-man count. Sinister 5 is just not having it this time around. They want to end this match as quickly as they possibly can. With all of them being on full HP, and an assault is going to happen into this trophy room, as they know where the frost mats are, they know where the shield is, and they know where the frost is actually playing. But Nivik does get a kill onto Danny Delphox, eliminating Paddy and Delphox. They're always finishing it off with a double kill. Sinister 5 trailing away right now, breaking the curse of a back and forth scoreline.
Exhale will choose to call that tactical timeout now. I think it is about time that they do so. They have lost 2 of their defenses now in a row, so they need to go and sit and speak about what is going on, what they need to change on their defense, what mistakes they are really making, and you just have some time to bring back their composure and bring their mindsets back up so that they can come again and give the fight towards Sinister 5. It is still winnable, but for Sinister 5, they are doing really well on their attacks. Swift, quick executes, those entries just making work of pushing through into those areas, the drone work just coming through and allowing them to push straight forward and supporting them as they do get that map control and then being able to push into sight and picking off the final last remaining players on the defense.
Yeah, that Colossal, I don't know if he played Jaeger both rounds, but either way, whoever was playing Jaeger, just the Jaeger dying pretty much 10 seconds into the round kind of killed Exhale there, because they down a man so early in the round. Most of them are roaming and they keep getting caught rotating, and that is a problem. Either when you rotate, fight back. I think a good example was, I think it was Blackstone in a previous match when he was playing a certain position and he had to back away. He was backing away. It was actually on this match. I'm mistaken. He was backing away with his gun up and pre-firing just to make sure that he backs away with safety. But this time around, Exhale is backing away, but they're getting caught with their backs turned towards the enemy while rotating. And that is not how you want to end up dying, especially in this kind of match where you are trailing behind in terms of a map and you need to catch up.
Different setup coming out here from Exiles. They choose to go back to Aviator. They did lose the previous time they went here, but they have that clash instead. Danny choosing to pick that operator, and then of course that Valkyrie, Mozzie, Jaeger, and Goyo bringing alongside them to try and delay these attackers. Those Goya shields, if they're placed in good positions, will be able to support them, but they don't actually have anything for rotate, so somebody will have to use their C4 to make that default rotate. Otherwise they are going to be in a position where they are playing in 2 different sites, not connected together whatsoever.
Yeah, remember when the Mozzie had the shotgun?
Yeah.
Back, then other days, poor Mozzie. That would have been so useful right now, because sometimes creating a strat and coming up with the operators that you need for certain strats means you have to lose out on a couple of things. And right now, they've lost out on the shotguns and they have to use their normal guns, or as Justin said, the C4s to make that rotate. But nonetheless, I don't think they expanded any C4s to make any rotates. They're going to hold on to them to get a couple of kills. KWR and his teammates are going to be pushing over a bedroom side of things. First C4 comes out, I believe, which does not connect with anyone, as that clash is going to hold down that 90 hallway. Nextro and partner are downstairs, waiting for anybody to either rotate or come downstairs to get rid of a couple of things from below. Grenade comes in, hits Paddy a little bit, but doesn't cause too much damage as he goes back to... Almost got killed again on the rotate.
Kevin now being able to push forward here with his teammates. They do have the angles in place and they have that drone, but Danny's playing a bit very aggressive here with the clash. There must be somebody there to support him. Otherwise, if they can get those air jabs through to really put pressure on as the C4 actually comes through and kills Delphox, and a double rotate here coming from the side of Exhale as Psych gets one, but he is being contested by another player. Danny here to support. He almost shoots his teammate. That is very unfortunate, but Kiever just sitting here waiting as Newick actually chooses to rotate back down, and he wins the other gunfight against Nixtro as he peeks to the bathroom. He shouldn't have won that, but now the clash going to be putting him on very low HP as he decides to push forward. Vlad picking off Danny as well on the board, and Paddy just sitting here waiting close as the Newick does spot him out on that drone. Will the angle be held? It does look so, but he does get peeked as Newick gets the kill, getting a triple for himself, just pushing straight through. He does get refragged by Colossal there and leaving it all up to Vlad and Kievan in a 2 versus 2 situation. He does get spotted out as Kievan gets the final pick, picking off Colossal and bringing Sinister 5 to match point.
A little too much aggression there, but you know what? It is warranted sometimes. They did get the man count somewhere along there, and I think the two players, the Mozzie and the Valkyrie, needed a little bit of help in Astro's side of things, but I think they almost held it down. If only the Valk was able to spot somebody in statue, a player in statue, that might have turned out different. But good job from Sinister 5 bringing back, I think, a 2v4 or 3v5 or 3v4 back down to a complete round win. They stole that round from Exhale.
Indeed they did, but Aviating Games will be reattempted. So Exhale going to Aviating Games for the 3rd time in their defense half now. Hopefully this time that Capcan might help them a bit better than, let's say, the Clash would. That those entry denial devices are going to be able to just slow down the attackers and maybe just put some damage on. They actually have 4 C4s on the board coming out from the defenders, and of course Danny is playing with that shotgun, so none of them have to be wasted because he can make those rotates. We have seen him play with that shotgun before. I believe it was on Cafe against NMK upstairs, and he just couldn't get cleared out, and he just carried on pushing through and putting pressure on those attackers. So it looks like Danny is really well skilled with those shotguns, specifically the Capcan and Ella Shotty. So we'll have to see how he plays with this instead of the Clash in this round.
Yeah, so as you said, a different lineup and a different strategy this time, and they need it because this is the last round for them to prove that they do want it more. And if they lose this round, then it is over because Sinister 5 does have the map lead onto them. Now, as we saw that Capcan on the Danny facing down on to that window below with a disgusting angle. If somebody jumps in and they dead meat, but he does back off from it because if they push from somewhere else and you caught relocating again, it is gonna smell for trouble. So far it's been about 10-20 seconds and nobody has been shot or died from Exhale. This is good news so far for them. And now there's Paddy on that Jaeger, also playing brazenly. No, Mozzie! Get away from your drone. Never gets a free kill onto Nextro though. And Paddy has that information, but he's going the wrong way, kind of. Or he might be rotating on a different route.
Nisha being the first pick there gives the advantage back to Sinister 5 as they are leading this map and match, actually, as they do have the map advantage. And Newick just sitting here waiting for the player as Paddy actually gets contested, but Danny with that shotgun, we were speaking about him earlier, he does get the pick onto Newick, and well, Delphox also gets down from that C4, so Danny now below to try and wait and see where he will be picked up, but he will just retake his position as Kiever actually picks up Delphox, and that will be him back up for the round.
That was so close from Vlad. Just 2 inches to the right and somebody was dead, and I think it is the Paddy on the Jaeger. But Saxosa just patiently waiting for people to push down to 90. So right now, Exhale is playing this pretty smart. They're just holding their ground and not getting way too aggressive. And there goes those EDDs downing a KWR on the Zofia. But he's going to be picked up, so they now have to be careful about those Capcan traps. But Danny says, here I come with the shotgun, and gets double for himself. Actually, a triple at that. He eliminates and gets the diffuser down, and he knows where it is. Delphox though knows where the Capcan is as the Capcan relocates and those shots coming in, so he makes his position known. Both of them on very low HP, so anything could kill them. Even a shotgun from afar as Danny gets a quad kill, and Delphox adds on to the kill counter for himself. So, but he's all alone with only 10 HP. This is definitely a round for Exhale this time around. Lights up the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie does some jiggle peeking, and they're just gonna calmly play and let this one play out. And Colossal finishes it off with that Vector to get a round for Exhale. They're now catching up, but is it gonna be enough? Because Sinister 5 is still on that map lead and match lead on that match point.
Well done to Excel there to keep that momentum up. They've bring the score back to a 4-6. They need 2 more rounds to take it to overtime to get a second chance at that overtime gameplay to maybe take it to a map 3. But for Sinister 5, they need to keep their momentum on their attacks and maybe just rethink what are they doing wrong, where are they allowing these defenders to push them from, as now they need to re-attack Trophy, but they did win the last time they attacked Trophy. So maybe the new sort of adaptations coming out from XL will be able to save them and keep them in the game. For Sinister 5, maybe they need to work around those adaptations to try and push forward and then still keep themselves and finish off this match.
It's those EDDs, Justin. Those EDDs are working. And a good read from them at that as well. But it could only carry you so far if Sinister 5 wakes up and finds a way to sort of calm down just a little bit, because the aggression has been turning up round for round. So if they just calm down and deal with these EDDs and deal with that Capcan shotgun from a distance, maybe they might be successful in closing this one out. But we'll see how successful this Capcan is going to help carry Exhale into a draw. Well, not a draw, but catch up on the round count.
Indeed, but a setup here coming out. Those 2 Goya shields going to be able to support that pressure. We did see it played in the previous time that they played, but maybe this adaptation of bringing that Melusi is going to slow down the attackers and that Capcan as well. Because Danny, you saw how much pressure he put on those attackers the previous round, getting a 4K for himself in that round with that shotgun. So proving that Capcan is really working into this new meta, and a lot of teams are starting to adapt onto that sort of playstyle. But for Sinister 5, it looks like they are doing a very split up push, as this player is going to be pinged out here, a nade being cooked from Vlad. So if he does get that nade right, no he doesn't, as he misses the window. Maybe he can get another one through, but Danny just decides to drop. Very bad timing from Vlad as he allowed that player to drop off. It's unfortunate, but he couldn't do much about that, as Paddy actually wins the gunfight on Newegg. That debris stopping his vision and just allowing him to get the opening pick, and that will be the Ayana off of the board.
All right, that was pretty bad luck there from, I think it was Vlad with that grenade. A little too high on that window, but he does know that that player is all the way downstairs, so he's going to wait for the run out or bait that run out. And it's the Capcan. If the Capcan is not careful, I don't think he'll win that gunfight with that shotgun. But it does give a chance for Vlad to jump in on the 90 window and try to take control over AVG and study. But there is somebody though from Excel on the side of the library side of things. But Colossal gets a C4 onto Vlad. They are completely catching up in terms of not man count, but the scoreline so far, because there's only 3 players of Sinister 5 left. 1 minute and 20 seconds. There's still enough time for them to catch up, but they do need a pick or 2 to equalize the man count so they can make this assault much easier on themselves.
1 minute left as the play is being contested. Danny does get the C4 off, but he doesn't get anybody with it. A 5 versus 3 now as the Malusi Wob will just be taken out. The play actually being contested here as Delphox gets the pick, but Niksho gets the refrag onto him and just playing passively on the shield. He actually gets a second one for himself, picking off Kiever, now leaving it all up to Blackstone in a 1 versus 4 situation. He will have to try and do it all here to clutch it out. The player's actually pushing very aggressively as Danny gets picked off there. Shouldn't have done that. Now Blackstone has a better advantage for himself. Still a big mountain to climb, but 30 seconds left. He's peeking this bus door. He knows the player's location. The C4 comes swinging through. He shoots the C4, gets the player of Nikstro with what a nice shot from him, and now bring it to a 1 versus 2. 20 seconds left as the last 2 remaining defenders decide to push back off into side to hold control of these areas.
If he wins this gunfight, it might be doable right now. He only has 10 seconds left to find the Paddy. Paddy gives it. Oh, and I think the flames killed him. Yep. He ran into the flames. I knew he was running out of time and he just wanted to get that shot onto Blackstone. No, whoever was on the Malusi though hiding out. But nonetheless, it is a 5-6 now, still in favor of Sinister 5. And this match point is slowly fading away for Sinister 5 as they go on to the dining and kitchen side of things. And I don't think they've been to dining and kitchen so far in this half, but they are still bringing a Capcan who's proving to be very useful into catching up.
Indeed, it is. Danny really making works with that Capcan, just putting so much pressure, one on the attackers having to look for those EDD devices, slow down, take a step back, just pushing them off, not allowing them to really just use their aggression and their swiftness to take control of that map so easily. They have to be more aware, be very vigilant of where those devices are placed. Same with those wobs, just allowing that delay to come through. So good adaptations from Excel to try and bring this back. We'll have to see how they decide to hold this dining and kitchen side. As for Sinister 5, we'll have to see how they choose to hold or to attack this side, because obviously we have not seen it just yet in the half. So it's make or break for both teams at the moment. XL need to win this one to take it to overtime, and then they would have won 3 rounds in a row, which if their mindset keeps going, they'll be able to maybe clutch it out in overtime. But for Sinister 5, they did have a tactical timeout now to speak about things, fix those mistakes, to try and maybe bring it back and clutch this victory now, because they only need one more round to win it out.
Yeah, I think they're going to slow things down a little bit, just so right now, as you said, the momentum has shifted, but the aggression has also shifted from the side of Exhale. They're becoming a little bit more aggressive, and it's working out for them, where Sinister 5 is trying to push back on that aggression, but it's absolutely not working. So down to kitchen, they haven't attacked the site at all, so it's going to be new grounds for them, but they're still bringing the same exact operators. And they'll be able to deal with a couple of utility, but they still haven't managed a way to deal with Danny's EDDs.
Danny there really helping with that delay of the defenders, but it is a full 5-man spawn at that fountain location for the attackers. It does look like they're trying to take control of that top floor. The defenders will have to just try and break them off. It doesn't actually look like top floor. No, never mind. There's the top floor as Vlad goes onto a pole on those Astro windows, and Kiever joins them upstairs with Delphox to try and drone out these areas.
Now that Astro window player is going to be ready for anybody rotating upstairs from either bathroom into Astro. And if he is successful at that, then he might be able to get a pick onto that. But Colossal is still waiting in trophy room. So if anybody does push on to that trophy room area, they'll be met with him. KW Rod gets a pick onto Nextro. And that is the mute off the board. Not a huge pick, because the mute jammers were still placed and they'll be in full effect. But Colossal, not sure where he's getting shot from, jumps down and C4 in hand and throws it midair, but not connecting with anything. And right now, it is an even man count as Nuvik was eliminated in that process.
Vlad killing Newick there. Unfortunately, TK for him, I believe he ran into
is
the
it a
lines of sight to him.
TK?
Yeah, it was indeed. But Vlad now trying to start and do that vertical pressure as well. Will the other remaining attackers do so? There are still one C4 on the board for the team for Exhale. That is on Danny's side there, and those EDDs are still in play. So when they have to push into those areas on site, they're going to be under a lot of pressure. Either they have to try and look for that EDD and shoot it, or try and be guns up and just take the damage, which then will put them in a weaker position to go for that gunfight.
Now, this is smart from Exhale. So what they've done is they've rotated all or most of their players from the top floor all the way down to the bottom floor and not giving Sinister 5 a chance to pick them off from above. So that means Sinister 5 has to push down to the main floor and push the side, and Exhale will be able to flank them from below. But as I say that, KWR gets a kill onto Saxosa right now. So the man lead count is towards Sinister 5, leaving Colossal, Danny, and Paddy to do the rest of the work. Danny still has that shotgun in hand, and some of the EDDs still haven't been triggered, so I'm guessing they'll be much closer to sight as the assault gets made when the time does run out. And speaking of time, there's only 24 seconds left. Justin, it's going to be messy right now.
25 or actually 15 seconds left on the clock. It is going to be messy indeed, as all these players are trying to push through this laundry area. They are going to have to pressure this player from Memorial, as the plant is actually being attempted here by Music. The cover is there, Kiever on the Sophia, but the shot comes swinging through, and the down comes through, but the plant doesn't get stopped as 2 kills come through from Danny. But it's a 2v2 situation with the last 2 remaining defenders. There is a lot of vertical pressure here from the attackers of Sinister 5 as Danny swings close with that shotgun. Vlad is aware of this as he pushes back to try and stop that, and he does get the kill. Danny with a triple kill going for that diffuser, but the player upstairs, Delphox, playing it perfectly well in that 1v1 situation. Now Colossal has to either stick it, he's trying to bait this position, he doesn't know where this attacker is last situated. 15 seconds left, this is his moment to clutch it out and get the final kill. But no, it is Delphox to get the final kill and win out the round for Sinister 5 and win the game and match for them as they take the matchup 2-0 victory.
I'm really surprised that rotate didn't work for Exhale, because that was a good read and a good play from them, rotating all the way downstairs to force the hand of Sinister 5. But Sinister 5 didn't budge. They just kept on pushing, and they made sure that they stayed their positions. And that plant just going down there, and just by the skin of his teeth as he put the plant down, the Capcan was there to demolish them, but it just wasn't enough. Had that plant been stopped, I think the round would have turned out different, but nonetheless, Sinister 5 managed to do the work and keep a player up on top to do the damage. Well played to Sinister 5 and well tried from Exhale. Those were 2 very close matches, and we hope to see more of that in the forthcoming matches.
Indeed, really well played from Sinister 5 there. Exhale showing a really well played siege game there, just giving their fight from the very start, really putting pressure on Sinister 5, bringing it all the way to overtime in the very first matchup, which was Chalet, and then losing that, unfortunately, 8-6. But then second map, just giving all the fight they could. Unfortunately, they were disadvantaged. They were down 6-3 and then started coming back, winning 2 rounds in a row to bring it to 6-5. But Sinister 5 eventually took that tactical timeout, decided that they needed it to try and win it out, and they did win it out indeed with a beautiful 1v1 clutch there at the end from Delphox, just playing time, just wasting that time, playing the vertical pressure and allowing his team to enjoy the victory for tonight. So they will be our second team joining into the semi-finals. They will be in Group B's semi-finals, so waiting for the outcome of Phoenix versus the NMK, and Viben Esports, of course, the very first semi-finalist in this tournament, going to be waiting to face off against Bravado or Imperial BII.
Yep, enjoy the spoils, they will, but wish it went to the third map. I don't remember what the third map was. Was it Oregon?
Yes, no, it was Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Oh, and that is, I think, Exhale plays, is it Sinister 5? I think Sinister 5 plays Clubhouse a lot. But anyway, it didn't go to the third map. And that is over. If you enjoyed this action, hope to see you guys again next week. We'll be playing out the rest of the matches. And I'm William, and next to me is Justin. And thanks to our observer Rickster and all the other casters that were here before us. I think it was King Luther and Olympus. Thank you to you guys, and we will see you guys next week. Ciao.
Bye.
How did I